one of those people in here. I said I'd probably throw up if that happened.
Yeah.
So, but if you guys want to do it, I'm down for it. All right, so the Oscar nominations came out yesterday. 96 Academy Award nominations were announced, and Oppenheimer took the lead with 13 nominations.
You know what, Preston, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your stupid question might be slightly out of date because John Williams got another nomination yesterday.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
So there you go. While Poor Things followed close behind with 11 nominations, Killers of the Flower Moon got 10 nods, and Barbie received 8. Lily Gladstone made history as the first Native American to be nominated for Best Actress. Martin Scorsese became the most nominated living director in Oscars history after receiving his 10th Best Director nomination. And then there was a bit of a controversy. Greta Gerwig was snubbed for Best Director, and Margot Robbie was snubbed for Best Actress, despite Ryan Gosling being nominated for Best Actor. And many took to social media to comment how this reflects Barbie's message. Somebody wrote, Ken getting nominated and not Barbie is honestly so fitting for a film about a man discovering the power of patriarchy in the real world. In fact, Ryan Gosling reacted to the news in a statement. He said, there is no Ken without Barbie, and there is no Barbie without Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. To say that I'm disappointed that they were not nominated in their respective categories would be an understatement.
You usually acknowledge a movie, that enormity. It was the most successful movie of 2023. And honestly, on a crafting level, on the execution of it, she should have got a directing.
And
she should have got a directing.
And I thought Margot was great in the movie too, acting wise. So. Other snubs included Ava DuVernay's Origin, which did not receive any nominations, Leonardo DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Tiana Taylor in 1001. So I'll go through the major categories. We touched on this yesterday. At least we did Best Picture. So I'll roll through those and then the major acting categories. So up for Best Picture, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
Has anybody seen Maestro?
No, I was about to ask that same question.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I have not. And our buddy Bradley is up for Best Actor in a Leading Role.
Our dear friend.
Our dear friend.
Our dearest friend.
Also up for Best Actor, Coleman Domingo in Rustin, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
I think really this is see that. I'm sorry, Steve.
No. I think this is going to be Murphy's year for Oppenheimer. I mean. It's such a funny movie.
Best Actress in a Leading Role, Annette Bening for Inyad.
Oh, no, it's Naiad. It's about Diana Naiad. She's the woman who swam from Cuba to Key West or whatever. I watched it. Yeah, I mean, dude. What an amazing feat that is.
Oh, she's astonishing.
Yeah. And the fact that she had tried it over and over and over again and had taken years off because she just realized or thought that it was just an unattainable goal. And then at some point was like, no, I'm going to try it again,
Casey, she's planning on swimming to the peak of Everest. So, I mean, that
impossible.
Is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right, Preston?
Yeah. Well.
And she's blind.
Never say never. And she's gay. Also, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. We mentioned that. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. Carey Mulligan for Maestro. And Emma Stone for Poor Things. Best Actor in a Supporting Role nominations are Starling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. He was phenomenal in that.
Excellent.
Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Best Actress Supporting goes to Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrara for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Naiad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
I got to watch that Naiad, Casey, reminding me of that. Yeah, it's an incredible story.
And Divine is also from Philly.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
She went to Overbrook.
Oh, she was great in The Holdovers.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed her character.
She went to Temple, too?
I believe so, Casey. Yeah, and she won the Golden Globe, right? For
she did. Nick, do you remember from Only Murders in the Building? She's the detective.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, that's her.
That's her. She's amazing.
Best Director, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Best Animated Feature Film nominations are The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Did you see Elemental?
I did not.
So it's okay story-wise, but it is a beautiful looking movie. Like it is like Moana, there's just, oh my God, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
This movie's like that.
Okay. The only one I saw on this list was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
And you said you thought it was a little, because I love the first one.
For me, it was sensory overload.
Sensory overload.
Like it was a lot of just
I-
kinetic stuff going on. It was too much for my old brain.
I felt like I was having a bit of a panic attack watching it. Yeah, it was way too much going on.
Maybe I spilled my pudding watching it.
But my family, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So good movie, apparently. So those are the nominations for the awards, and the ceremony. It doesn't say on my list when that's going to be.
It's March. Hang on a second. I got this in my brain. March, I think maybe 10th.
Okay.
Preston, the information's next to the Eric Lindros contest.
Thank you.
With the prizing.
Yeah.
I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my
giving
phone.
me an Oscar.
All right, so I have some other stories to get to and not a whole lot of time to do it. So let's dive into this. On Monday's episode of the Smartless podcast, Mark Ruffalo opened up about being diagnosed with a brain tumor following the release of his 2000 film, You Can Count on Me. He said that he had a dream about the tumor before receiving the diagnosis. He said it wasn't like any other dream I had ever had.
I hope I dream of a huge penis tonight.
He said it was just like, you have a brain tumor. It wasn't even a voice. It was just pure knowledge. You have a brain tumor, and you have to deal with it immediately. He got a CAT scan done. The nurse told him he had a mass behind his left ear the size of a golf ball.
Oh, jeez.
The tumor was benign, but he still had to have it removed. And following the surgery, he said, I was completely deaf in one ear, and when I woke up, the left side of my face was totally paralyzed, and I couldn't even close my eye.
Wow.
I was talking out of the side of my mouth. He said that the paralysis subsided after a year, but he still has trouble hearing in that ear.
Well, that's very impactful. I was watching footage today, Preston, of a surgery being performed on a young man. They were removing a cancerous tumor from him. He was awake for it, and he's a guitarist. They had him playing his electric guitar.
Right.
It was amazing.
They will sometimes do that because they will do some brain surgeries while you're wide awake.
Right.
They do it to check your motor function skills.
Right. Yeah.
While you're being operated.
But he's there. He's cranking along on the guitar.
I saw it was weird because they had the guy playing the trombone while they were doing it. It was like,
I mean,
He's coding.
He sounds a little buzzed.
Something's wrong. He's getting too much anesthesia. Check the blend.
So, so he got that taken care of. I never knew that about
20
him.
cc trombone stat.
Anne Hathaway showed her solidarity for the Condé Nast Union by walking out of a Vanity Fair photo shoot in New York City yesterday. This came as 400 union members who work for the media conglomerate began a 24-hour work stoppage over the company's unlawful handling of layoff negotiations and bad faith bargaining. Source told Variety they hadn't even started taking photos yet. Once Anne was made aware of what was going on, she got up from the hair and makeup and left.
Harumph.
The work stoppage began at 8:30 a.m. yesterday, the same time that the Oscar nominations began. Union members at Vanity Fair, Vogue, GQ, Allure, Architectural Digest, Glamour, Self, Teen, Vogue, and other publications all walked off the job and joined a rally in front of the Condé Nast offices in New York City.
Haven't you always sort of secretly wanted to storm out of something and have to make an impact?
Get up and leave.
Yeah.
I'm out of this is a disgrace.
you want to flip something over?
Yeah.
I quit a job one time loudly and walked out, but that was the only time I've ever done
Kathy,
anything
didn't you
like
have a
that.
friend that got a job on purpose so that he could walk away?
My
What?
cousin Dan got a job at Burger King because he wanted to quit and jump over the counter and leave.
Just talked about this.
Yeah,
Did we
yeah,
not?
we talked about it off the air.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love
And did he do it?
You know what? He did get the job. I have to ask him if he did the quitting and jumped over the counter. Like he had a job. There was no need for him to get it, but
So
he
he just so
specifically
he could quit.
he wanted to
went through
quit
training.
and jump over the counter and leave. I have to ask him if he did actually do it.
You and I did sort of a passive when contract negotiations at Y100. Do you remember we had our
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
we
was
packed up our stuff.
We didn't get to do the
Out of here.
ha.
No. All right, so this was sad news to hear, but Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison, the lead on the show, revealed that his son Adam, he had passed away recently.
Very sad.
His cause of death, after confirming the 39-year-old died, he died from a fentanyl overdose. So the statement continued saying that Adam died of a fentanyl overdose. The fentanyl crisis in this country must be taken more seriously, he said. Rick initially didn't reveal how his son died when he honored Adam on Instagram on Friday, January 19th. He had said, "You'll always be in my heart, and I love you, Adam." And TMZ had reported that the death was from an overdose and revealed his family apparently found out on January 19th. Adam was one of Rick's 3 sons. He shared him and Corey with his first wife, Kim, and third son, Jake, with his second wife, Tracy.
How many people have died from that? The old man died on that show, right?
Yeah. I don't know who else if anybody else has passed. The Chumley guy, I think, got arrested, if I remember that. But
I went there a couple of years ago. We were just kind of killing time. We were waiting. We had a late flight. And
Was it fun?
It was underwhelming, to be honest. Yeah.
So for me, the show is best when they're going through the history of the items being brought in.
Yeah.
When it's the worst, when they're doing that constructed BS.
yeah. Well, let's see what this car can do.
Yeah. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. There was a time when I watched it quite a bit, but I've kind of it's gotten old.
Those
to me
guys
now.
aren't there. That's the thing. We're like, oh, I wonder who's working today. There's like nobody.
People reports Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made a surprise appearance at the premiere of Bob Marley, One Love in Kingston, Jamaica on Tuesday. The Duke and Duchess of...
Is he associated with Jamaica, Preston?
Who?
Bob Marley?
Yeah, he is. He is. I thought you were talking about Prince Harry. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex held hands while walking the red carpet together. The film is set to hit theaters on February 14th.
Looks really good. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
It looks really good. It really seems to capture the heart of Bob Marley.
Excellent.
And he's constantly talking about Delaware in it.
I'm sure. No, I would like to see it. I love what Bob Marley was all about. We have a piece of audio, or we should, for this, Casey. It's Emma Stone. Marissa, did you send that over? She's sending it over now. So Jeopardy host Ken Jennings appeared on Live with Kelly and Mark recently and shared what Emma Stone would have to do in order to appear on the game show. You remember she said she wanted to be a legit member. She wanted to, and she's gone to auditions for it. She doesn't want to do Celebrity Jeopardy. Jennings said that they'd take her in a heartbeat. But that she would have to go through the same tests as everyone else. And this comes after she revealed that it's her favorite show. And Ken, do you want me to play this audio
Yeah, we
first?
have it now, yeah.
Ken made a video directly addressing her, and it's pretty cool. Here he goes.
Hey, Emma, this is Ken Jennings from Jeopardy. I understand you're a fan of the show. I understand that, like me, you try out for Jeopardy regularly. And look, I just want to encourage you. I want you to keep studying. I want you to be the one who breaks my record on Jeopardy. 75 straight games. Good luck.
That's cool.
Ken has developed his Alex Trebek humanity side. He has also, what is kind of cool is when you have some underperforming contestants, Preston, you can start to see Ken get a little antsy, like, I know these answers. Why aren't you getting it? You know, yeah.
So, by the way, Lisa Ann Walter, last night, last night was she's headed to the championship for celebrities.
Nice.
I didn't watch last night's
Celebrity
episode.
Jeopardy?
Were they the contestants last night?
Well, there was a primetime Celebrity Jeopardy at 8 last night.
Yeah.
January 23rd. Yes, it was last night. I don't know how she did. I didn't watch it, but it was her and Kate Nolan and Mo Rocca.
Yeah.
That were facing off against each other. So we'll have to find out how she did. All right. Let me see. What else do I have here for you? Deadline reports that Squid Game fans can look forward to the release of the show's second season this year. The first season of the show, which premiered on Netflix in September of 2021, it continues to hold the title of the most watched series on the streaming platform. Second seasons are also expected for The Diplomat, Empress, and Bridgerton. In fact, there was a full statement that they came out with that was teasing a bunch of other shows. Empress Season 2, Love is Blind Season 6, Full Swing Season 2.
You know what pissed me off? No,
What?
No, second season of The Bodyguard.
The
show that we liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that came out years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. There's supposed to be a second season. Nothing.
Also, Griselda, they announced new stuff like Griselda, The Gentleman, Avatar, The Last Airbender. So they've got a big slate of stuff that's coming out. Plus, Squid Game is their competition series as well, Squid Game The Challenge. And they also have an upcoming video game as well, which should be kind of interesting. Let's see. Sofia Coppola told The New Yorker in a recent interview that it's, quote, a real drag that her show, The Custom of the Country, based on Edith Wharton's novel and starring Florence Pugh, was axed at Apple. She said they pulled our funding. She said, Can't you give me a straight answer anymore? She said, I thought that they had endless resources. She added the executives were mostly dudes and just didn't get the character of Undine, I guess, who was played by Florence Pugh. She said she's so unlikable, but so is Tony Soprano. And she said it was like a relationship that you probably should have gotten out of a while ago, but apparently they axed it and it's not going to happen.
Those characters are complex, and you're always walking a fine line. If you make them absolutely loathsome, the audience will just hate them and not pay attention.
Yep.
Tony Soprano had his moments where you would be, okay, I can see where Tony's coming from here. Or in Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad.
Right.
There were moments for someone who's doing reprehensible things for you to go, okay, I get this.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, Family Matters icon Jaleel White is set to host a new syndicated game show called The Flip Side. The series will challenge two teams of players to anticipate how two different groups of people feel about the same issue through a series of multiple choice questions.
Why don't they just finally give him a show called Did I Do That?
Thank
For
you.
real.
Thank
Screaming out there.
It is expected to premiere this fall.
Is that the name of the show?
It's called The Flip Side.
It is, okay.
Yeah. White also hosted the sci-fi game show Total Blackout, appeared on Family Feud, and competed on Dancing with the Stars as well. So he's done a few little game show stints.
There's a series, I think it's Casey is on Vice at the Dark Side of Comedy. And they Family Matters, and they talked about the Urkel character.
Yeah.
And how the Urkel character came from left field. And initially everyone was like, oh, wow, we got some traction now. The show's getting traction. And then he's so dominated that everyone's going, oh,
hold on a second.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to be like this goofball one-off character maybe.
Yep.
And then people loved him.
Circling back to Jeopardy, Lisa Ann did win last night.
Oh!
She won $1 million, I guess, for her charity. And apparently, we got a text from a listener that said that there was one clue about Philadelphia that she answered in a full-on Philadelphia accent.
No kidding.
We'll have to get that audio.
That's great. She was so awesome when
She's
we
the
had
best.
her by her. She's just a sweetheart.
She had sold out her show and she came in anyway.
Recent acting gigs, by the way, for Jaleel White include Hustle, Me, Myself, and I, and The After Party. So we're ready now to play clips for you. Chrissy and Dave Dine Out features Chrissy Teigen, Momofuku founder.
Momofuku, yeah, David Chang.
What's Momofuku?
So it's a Japanese noodles restaurant.
Oh, I watched this show.
And he had a really, really great series on Netflix. Where he was traveling the world eating world cuisine. He's a great dude.
Kind of like an Anthony Bourdain type of a show.
Okay, so Momofuku founder David Chang and comedian Joel Kim Booster, it features them dining at Michelin star restaurants while dishing with famous friends. And in this clip, Chrissy talks about how this series has changed her perception of the business.
The ins and outs of being a chef and an owner of a restaurant and seeing how complex that is. And some people ask us, like, what do you think is the most overrated restaurant? I'm like, I don't answer that question anymore. Like, there is so much heart and soul that goes into these restaurants.
Oh, shut up, woman.
Chrissy and Dave Dine Out premieres tonight on Freeform.
She's right, though. The amount of work that goes into the odds are so against you opening up a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And the people, and the Bear gives you an incredible appreciation of just what goes into trying to get any level of success at a restaurant.
So Santa Claus brought this this jar of David Chang's Momofuku spices that you just kind of take like a half of a spoonful and you throw it in regular ramen, and it's a game changer.
Wow. Okay. Next clip. Queer Eye returns to serve up hip tips, emotionally charged makeovers, and heartfelt reveals that bring out all the feels. And here, the Fab Five share advice they wish they followed in their younger years.
Embrace the fact that you're ready
feminine, and that's okay.
Yes, girl. I would say embrace the Irish exit.
Stop being concerned with getting older. No, because I'm the oldest of the Fab Five. You get worried of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. You get consumed.
Whenever someone asks me about my younger self, I'm just like, don't do meth.
You lust. Queer Eye season 8 premieres today. That is on Netflix, by the way.
Jonathan Van Ness from the current iteration of it. He's on tour. He's going to be at the Keswick next weekend, and the name of his tour is called Fun and Slutty, which I love. And I believe he's going to be on the show on Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
All right, that's the report for you this morning, friend. Let's take a quick break. Not before I remind you, we have a secret text word today. Black Crows, giving away those tickets for that show Tuesday, May 7th at the Met. So if you're interested, text the word secret to 39333. Don't forget those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And Pierre's going to have tickets for you to win as well. And there is a pre-sale that's taking place and another chance to win at WMMR.com. So we get you covered in a bunch of different ways. We'll be back in just a second, so stay with us. Thank you very much, Kathy. Saw this interesting article I wanted to pass along to you guys. It's all about the middle finger and flipping someone off.
Flipping the bird.
And its origin. And from time to time, I will... I'll try to rationalize, like if I have had an altercation with someone via, a misunderstanding on the road while you're driving or whatever. And
Very common.
Somebody will flip me off.
Right.
It's happened. It's happened to all of us, I'm sure, at one time or another. And, immediately you get mad. You get tense and you get angry and all this stuff. And then after a while, I've thought about it. I'm like, why am I getting so mad? All this person did was hold up a finger to me. They're mad. I don't know them. And why should I even let that bother me in the first place? But we're just so kind of trained.
That's what that means.
To get angry.
To elicit a response.
When you see that.
Yeah. When was the last time you flipped the bird? I can't remember the last time I gave someone the finger.
Oh, probably last week.
I did it.
I do it. Steve, is I will hold my middle finger out and I hold it kind of beneath the window sometimes, so I can feel like, and I'm giving it to somebody. But because I just don't feel like dealing with somebody's road rage incident and them cutting me back off or whatever. I feel like I've gotten it out there. Yeah, I've expressed some anger, and I'm just not going to interact with that person.
I did it last Thursday. I was my son was driving. We were on the Blue Route for the very, very first time. The car in front of us, first of all, because we were actually right around the corner from you, Nick. We were getting on the Blue Route in Radnor. The car in front of us didn't put a turn signal on to get onto the Blue Route. And they were driving like an idiot, and I'm trying to teach my son how to drive, right? So,
and then to give the middle finger.
Then at the last second decides, oh, I'm getting off now. I'm going to get onto the Blue Route now. And then what I told my son was, here's the best part about this, because we're only going. I'm turning this into too long of a story. Anyway, the car in front of us was an a-hole. And I flipped them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So I won't do it out of anger because I don't know why, but I'm afraid I'm going to, give somebody the finger in my town. Yeah. And it's going to be like Jace's teacher or, somebody who listens to the show or whatever. So I don't.
The broadcaster, Kathy Romano, flipping the bird all over Concha Hagen.
Yeah. So I get nervous about that. So I'll do other things. I usually don't give the finger for that. The only two people that I give the finger to, both my brothers are real estate agents, and they're constantly all over town. So I will pass them in the car all of the time. And it's a little beep and finger.
It's like learning to not, if there's an a-hole or somebody that's driving less than desirable in your immediate vicinity of where your home is, you learn after a while to not tailgate that person because it might be your next door neighbor or, you know what I mean? Yeah. After a while, you learn the territories.
To your point about the finger and what it elicits and what we've been trained to respond to and the sentiment of it. There obviously, and we've pointed this out before, in other countries, there are other gestures that would be absolutely benign to us that would send them into a rage.
Yeah. I kind of judge the way you give the finger. If that makes any sense. Like, if you put your thumb out, I automatically think less of you.
Thumb out and in?
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, that's not the finger. Like, that's two fingers now at this point.
This is pretty much,
That's the way. That's the one.
That's
the goat of middle fingers.
It's your fist is more tightly. I think it's a little more anger involved because Nick sticks his thumb out.
No. I was doing Casey's.
I do the tuck in.
You do the tuck in. Yeah, exactly. That's the real deal. I used to do this thing, the bird.
I like that.
Or
I would rank that probably like in the top 5. That's like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the index and middle finger squatted down beside.
right.
We used to do this goofy thing, which was a hand weaving thing. This
Right,
was the double bird.
Ooh, I
Double
like
bird.
that.
That's actually like a little steeple.
Yeah,
was
Kathy, see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tuck those thumbs in.
I tried to give a double bird to a woman that I thought was Kathy one morning, and turns out it was somebody completely else.
Oh my God,
It was a llama.
in a parking lot, and she was driving a car that was similar to Kathy's.
Did
Preston.
she see you?
Oh yeah, I jumped in front of the car, Kathy, because I thought that it was you. This was probably a decade ago, and I gave double birds.
I'm just bringing my child here for chemotherapy.
Oh my God.
Why are you so upset with me?
That's awesome.
Which honestly was an object lesson for me. Because, don't do that at all, because it might be the lady bringing her son to chemo.
Oh, wait. Okay. So this takes it to it's always one of my favorite stories, Preston.
By the way, I'm going to give you the origin of the bird here in a moment, but go ahead.
You going into and grabbing the dude from behind you thought you recognized.
Oh my God.
Thought it was my buddy Roscoe.
Grab him.
Wasn't him. I tried to pick him up.
To Casey's point earlier, when you are actually angry and want to give the middle finger to somebody, don't you go full on tucked in, clenched fist with just the one finger up, right?
Do you know what I do though, Nick? Is honestly, if there's some sort of road rage incident, I will pull up alongside and I will do I'll do the
mouth it.
F you.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
without
all I need
question.
to do.
All right, so the ancient Greeks.
The ancient Greeks, they invented yogurt.
They invented a whole lot of stuff. So it was around 2,500 years ago that the Greeks developed and here's what I did know.
Yo, Aristotle, what did you say?
It's a phallic gesture. To offend, taunt, and literally poke each other as well. While throwing up the middle finger today, clearly it communicates a resounding F-U.
Yeah.
In classical society, historians say a middle finger was more of a sexual reference. So
More like a come on?
no, not that way. So I'll explain. So the Greeks probably relied on the use of the middle finger to represent an engorged penis.
So think about it. If you're driving along and you want to flash an engorged penis would require a lot of work.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
It would be hard to do that.
Give me a second. I got to look at some porn.
This is according to Max Nelson, who teaches courses on classical civilizations at the University of Windsor in Ontario, Canada. So proudly displaying a middle finger was usually a joke, an insult, or Steve, I retract my statement, a sexual proposition. So a few sources from ancient Greek reference middle fingers being used to prod or poke people's persons from nostrils to their genitals or their butt. So they would actually poke each other with the middle finger.
Plato, have you tried the butt?
So listen, the Greek playwright Aristophanes was also purportedly a fan of the gesture, referring, and Socrates comes into this, by the way,
Absolutely. He's always hanging around.
To the long finger in several of his plays. In his comedy, The Clouds, written in 419 BC, a caricature of Socrates attempts to instruct the debtor named Strepsiades about poetic meter. Strepsiades makes a crude joke about using a different finger to create rhythm. And translators of the text usually conclude that Strepsiades gesticulates with his middle finger, or in some translations reveals his privates.
Yeah.
To refer to self-pleasure and whatever
D's nuts.
Whatever that's it. It's totally D's nuts. Whatever the intent, the Socrates character responds with disgust.
So there's a lot more. We now see it solely as one thing. It was a multitude of possibilities.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hang on a second. I'm real quick before I continue on with that. I want to go to this call from Scott real quick. Hey, Scott, good morning.
Good morning, bitches.
Good morning to see you, Scott. What's up?
Hey, so I was driving down the road, and there was a lane closed ahead, so somebody flew past me and cut me off, and I was angry, and I flipped them the bird and laid on the horn.
Yep.
And you know what hurt way worse than them flipping me off back?
What?
They just stuck up their index finger, spun it around in a circle like whoop-de-doo.
Oh, really?
A
little dipsy-doo. So what?
As in, their response was like, big freaking deal.
Yeah.
Because that's what that gesture means to me, like, whoop-de-doo.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a response to you that you were like, oh, wow, my middle finger did nothing to this guy.
It hurt so much more.
Wow.
You pulled over to the side.
Interesting.
I hear you. Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
You're being dismissed.
Yeah. What is the
Your rage.
What is the retort
Yeah.
to the middle finger? Throwing one back at them, I guess, is kind of the automatic
I
response.
laugh. I'll
laugh?
Run
I'll
into
laugh
them.
at them.
I had one time somebody, and I'm going to continue on because there's more to the middle finger gesture because it goes into ancient Rome as well.
Oh, man.
But I had someone, and I didn't think it was a dick maneuver on my part driving. And I'll tell you exactly where it was because we used to work over this way, Casey. It was on Baltimore Pike. I was headed towards the Wawa area.
Okay.
And at 422, I was going to make a left. Well, that left
452.
452. I'm sorry. That left-hand turn lane would get very, very full. But you had the option to go down further and make a left into the Wawa parking lot. Well, as I was driving along, somebody paused and a gap opened up in that left turn lane. So I'm like, oh, I'll just pull in there and I'll make the left-hand turn.
Yeah.
Well, that pissed off the person who I pulled in front of. I didn't do it quickly. I didn't cut him off, anything like that. And instead of flipping me off, and it took me a moment to figure out what they were doing, they went like this. And I'm gesturing.
Oh, I know what that is.
So this is sign language. This is American Sign Language for a-hole.
Yeah.
For your
Yeah.
butthole.
Oh, right.
And I was like, I actually kind of thought it was a unique,
Yeah.
as
Was
opposed
that
to flipping me off. I don't know if
Butthole or a-hole?
I don't know if they were deaf or if they just knew American Sign Language.
Wow.
You should have that instead of your horn.
Yeah.
But they did that, and I was like, I appreciated it as a good alternative gesture that I didn't get mad at.
Things
them
are so fleeting in those moments and those interactions.
So the middle finger eventually made its way to ancient Rome, where locals like to call it digitus imputicus.
That's a curse at Hogwarts.
No, it's
Your anus falls out.
the digitus imputicus.
Mr. Potter, my anus fell out, and I blame you.
Digitus imputicus. The indecent digit is what that means.
The indecent digit.
Yeah, so the Roman historian Suetonius reported that the emperor Caligula forced his subjects to kiss his middle finger.
Wow.
Per anthropologists and leading middle finger historian Desmond Morris, this was a demeaning gesture that represented the ruler's penis.
So basically, yes.
he's saying,
it's as a proxy, he's saying, kiss my, yes.
Yeah.
And they would do it.
And they would do
because
it.
he was the ruler. You always kiss the ruler's penis.
That's an album title.
Yeah.
You always kiss the ruler's penis.
Like Preston, take the band, the image, and like looking at your looks and looking, you always kiss the ruler's penis.
That'd be perfect. Morris has said that the middle finger we know today, the digit hoisted high in the air, other fingers bending to its will, represents a penis and testicles.
Oh.
Interesting. So the companion fingers on each side would be the nuts.
That's correct.
I'm using the medical term. Yeah, D's nuts.
It is saying, according to him, this is a phallus that you're offering to people, which is a very primeval display.
It is time to kiss the ruler's penis.
It is not clear, though, whether the ancient Greeks and Romans extended their middle fingers vertically in the air.
Yeah.
They could have done it like this.
I've seen that. I've seen that
Yep.
as that same application. I think I've seen that more in Europe.
Nelson wrote that while ancient people did likely use their middle fingers to make obscene gestures, they may have pointed them horizontally or in other directions, a bit different from a typical finger we know today. This would be gangster stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
Side
hold
on,
the gang
yeah.
side, hold the gun sideways.
You know what I always dug was the very aggressive.
Yeah.
Rolling. You're doing two hands and you're rolling them around.
I don't know. I was just trying to think of like all these dances.
That's the Bill West Casey.
F you!
You slap and then you come up.
By the way, you cannot show the middle finger extended that way on television.
Yeah.
You can't show.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
right.
think
Cannot
of
show the
that.
extended middle finger on television.
Oh, you know what?
Which is like way worse than some of the stuff that they
Exactly.
can do on
Yeah.
television.
Because the Manning cast last football season, Eli and what's the other one? Peyton Manning. They do a simulcast of Monday Night Football,
Right.
and Eli was, I guess it was a Philadelphia game, and he was just talking about how he would get the middle finger from little kids
Right,
in
yeah.
Philadelphia, and so he showed the middle finger. This is I guess it was on ESPN, and so he had to come back and apologize. He was like,
right,
sorry
right.
about that.
The middle finger's popularity faltered, but did not entirely disappear during the Middle Ages, likely due to the growing influence of the Catholic Church and its disapproval of sexual gestures.
So they would have underground middle finger parties
because they would think it was a phallus. So
The royal
Morris,
penis is clean, Your Highness.
Morris has said that the middle finger landed in the U.S. with Italian immigrants in the late 19th century.
I am a middle finger. Where can I go to get some more?
The Italians are great gesticulators.
Oh, my God.
Because a few other gestures are like,
We were talking about this last week.
So you take your hand, I'm trying to describe this for the radio audience, and you flick it underneath your chin.
So,
and I don't know. And then also Casey's doing the thing where you put your thumb on your tooth, and as if you're picking it and throwing it at someone.
So correct me if I'm wrong and watch if this is it. When as growing up in Long Island, my Italian friends would do this, and they would accompany it with the Italian words for F you.
Okay.
So, which I don't know if I can say.
Vangul?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can say that.
We also do this one too. What is that?
So this
if
is
you want to describe that to
if
the
you were
listener.
doing the train or the truck driver honk the horn thing.
It's called a
your
pip.
arm in that shape, and you actually come up with your other arm and you do this. Yeah, that's another one.
Or this out
Yeah.
punch out. Yeah.
What about when you're holding your hand out with your all five fingers pointed up, that like the Maloika kind of thing?
Stugat.
That's actually an emoji on your phone.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's the chef's kiss.
Or
I always
I'm gonna put
interpreted it as a good thing.
No, that's like a, yeah.
This is not a good thing in Italy.
No, but I mean if you kiss it.
Oh,
Yeah.
like this. Like, mwah.
Yeah.
So
That's
that is
not
that's a
that.
positive.
So this is a screw you.
This is F you, yeah.
Okay, it's putting your first three fingers together with your thumb and doing this.
Checking
now the
the mouse for
Maloika I
hernia.
thought was like the three-pronged point, like
almost
that.
like a snake bite. And then in England they do the
It's a peace
backwards
sign,
peace sign.
but backwards, and that's an FU if you flip it upwards, from what I understand. But I don't know where they all get their origins from. But the Italian immigrants apparently brought the middle finger to the United States. It didn't become quote the bird until the 1960s. Right.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
I like it.
Writer Brian Palmer reported for Slate. Birds have apparently been synonymous with taunting long before the mid-20th century. When the middle finger's popularity grew once more, it became known as a wordless version of the goose-like honks and hisses of displeasure preferred by Brits and other Europeans.
So they would actually make bird-like noises?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
What I love, of
And
course,
hisses.
are the loads of memes of the mockingbirds.
Oh yeah.
F you.
It has since become a beloved gesture for anti-authority rebels. Johnny Cash flashed a defiant middle finger during a 1969 performance at San Quentin State Prison in California after a photographer reportedly asked him what he thought of the prison warden. I always thought that was he was flipping off the record company.
That's what I heard, yeah.
I think anytime you take a picture of somebody giving the finger, you put it in black and white, it kind of makes it a little artsy. Don't you think?
Sure.
Sometimes, yeah.
That picture is in black and white. That's what you're referring to. Today, flipping the bird is considered so vulgar, it represents the F-bomb, that it's frequently, as you said, Steve, blurred in media and even sent the BBC into a tailspin when one of its presenters unknowingly pointed it towards viewers during a live broadcast. Screw you.
Wait, what was the recent
BBC reporter?
What was the recent occurrence where somebody held up their ring finger and it was interpreted as giving the finger? This happened.
Phillies were doing it.
Maybe that's what it was. Yes, it was Nick Castellanos.
Yeah,
and because he was holding up his ring finger, saying, "I want to get a ring on this finger for the World Series."
Right.
And people were like, and he did it to the dugout.
Yeah.
So everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Why are you giving the finger to the dugout?" He's like, "I wasn't giving the finger to the dugout. It was I wanted to show up my ring finger."
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Wow.
You know, the old thing, Preston, and there are riffs on it. You would hold up you'd say, "Do you like fish?" And then you'd hold up your middle finger, and you'd say, "Perch," like sit on this.
Okay. I remember when Seamus,
I don't remember that one.
When Seamus was little in grade school, one of his classmates taught him the middle finger. One of his classmates had some older brothers that taught him the middle finger. And
Come over later on. I'm going to teach you a finger.
But we said to him, we're like, "Do you even know what that means?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we're like, "Well, what does it mean? Go ahead, tell us." And we're like, we gave him a pass. We're like, you can say it out loud one time. And he goes, "It means..." And then he says the S word, shh.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, we had to leave the room because we were laughing so hard. We was like, yes, yeah, that's what
Exactly
it means.
right.
It means yes.
Hang on a second. I want to go to Julie. Hi, Julie. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great. What's up, Julie?
So I used to work in retail hell, and I was a manager in a store. I was working late. Me and my associate were closing for the night, and I was driving home, and I just wanted to go home and go to bed. And I'm driving down the road, and this guy just going so freaking slow. So I flip him off, and I pass him to get around him. Go to work the next day. My associate comes in, and she goes, "Yeah, you gave my dad the finger last night." So that's cool. That's really mature, and you're my manager, and I just wanted to die. I was mortified.
Jeez. Oh, no.
This was like 10 years ago, and to this day, if I see her around in public, I just like walk the other way. I'm like,
Wow.
Yeah,
So
it sticks with you.
It's still cringeworthy for you.
I still remember it. So I'm a little more careful now.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. And to Nick's point, you don't know. You maybe do it
Julie.
surreptitiously rather than invite a full-on road rage incident.
I love those stories. If you want to share where you accidentally flipped off someone you knew, feel free to call us 215-263-WMMR. Nick, can you pull that article back up here?
About the Italian ones?
The Italian, yeah. It's apparently Macosa stai dicendo. Stai dicendo is what you say when you're holding up the fingers like that. And it means, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I punch in your face.
Ma cosa vuoi da me means, what do you want from me? What do you want
What
from
do
me?
you want from
What do you
me?
want, an apology?
I'm going to tell you something.
Forget about it.
These are nuts.
Santa's gotta go. What do you want from me?
Santa's gotta go.
Dici sul serio means, are you serious?
She's at the weather girl on Fox 29.
Right,
Serio. You say, sanana ayun aesis.
Is that Greek?
No, I don't know. That's what the dude says to get Willie when he jumps over the jetty to free himself and free Willie.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Sanana ayun aesis.
What are other, Casey, you know a lot of phrases that you know, like pastati.
Pastati. What does that mean, by the way? Because Marion says that in
We're out of pretzels.
We're out of pretzels.
You know what this is from? Flip them the bird.
No.
So Robin Williams is teaching the Vietnamese curses and giving the middle finger. And when he encounters one of the Vietnamese guys towards the end of the movie, he calls out from a distance, "Flip them the bird!"
Flip them the bird.
I don't remember
What movie is that from?
Good Morning Vietnam.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Where he's teaching the Vietnamese people. Yeah.
He's teaching the Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. What movie is that?
It's with Robin Williams.
That would be Good Morning
okay,
Vietnam.
Robbie
And
Williams.
it's in the morning.
Yeah, he's dead.
And it's a good morning.
I want to go to another call here. I'm going to go to Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning, it.
Good morning to see you, Michelle. What's up?
So a couple of years ago, we were going on vacation, and we were camping, so we had the car full of stuff. We had 4 kids in the back seat. We get to an intersection. We're in a rural area, and there's a police officer at the intersection, and there's a car behind us. We continue through the intersection, and so does the other car. The cop comes, puts his lights on, so we're not sure if they're pulling us over or the car behind us. So when he gets to the car behind us, we're like, oh, we're good to go. But the cop tells us to stop. So he comes up and he says, "Did you guys give him the finger?" And we were like, no. He said, well, he went through the stop sign because he's saying someone in your back seat gave him the finger. So I have 4 kids in the back seat. I'm like, we have kids in the back seat. And he's like, yeah, I don't think. He's like, let me talk to him again. He comes back to us. He's like, you guys can go. He's like, your kids look like good kids. I'm like, okay. We go on. We go camping for the whole week. Like the last day of the trip, my daughter goes, remember when we got pulled over? I did it.
How old was she?
She was like 13 at the time.
Oh, man. I
That's
hate
funny.
when you're driving in the car, and
Thanks,
have
Michelle.
you ever had this happen, Preston, or you maybe with Rochelle, or there's an altercation, and they start
passenger.
They start jumping in. No. Driver makes the call on the reaction.
By the way, you can get pulled over for flipping a cop off?
I think that's a BS.
No. The other person got pulled over because he ran the stop sign and he was blaming them.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I thought the cop pulled them over.
No, they pulled the people. He pulled both of them over because
Okay.
the guy was blaming them for running the stuff. It was their fault.
All right, let me go to, here's a number of these. This happened. So I'm going to go to Sarah. Hi there, Sarah.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Sarah?
So I was driving down a two-lane road, and someone in front of me was going super slow. I'm driving home, and I was getting frustrated. We merged onto a two-lane highway, and I passed them real quick and gave them the bird and everything. And then I noticed that they seemed to be following me, and I got a little concerned, turned into my neighborhood.
Yeah.
They're still behind me. And then I turned into my driveway, and they turned into their driveway, which is right next door to mine.
Do you know them at all?
Not so. I mean, I've been there for years. We say hi. We haven't said hi very recently.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Was there any conversation that happened after that?
Not since then. No.
Okay. All right. Yep. Oh my God. Thank you, Sarah. And then your blood just rushes from your head. Like, no. I have Chris we're going to go to next. Hey, Chris, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
So we were on a family trip in Italy, and my uncle was in one rental car. I was with my dad and my family in the other. And my father didn't know which car my uncle was in. So we're driving down this Italian highway, and this car just keeps getting in front of us, cutting us off, slowing down. So my dad speeds up, tailgates him a little bit, and keeps slowing down, moves into another lane. Finally, my dad gets so fed up, he floors it without looking. He's, in Italy, he's driving on the other on the other side. He just flips him off, not looking at him. Well, we all get to the hotel later, and my uncle comes up. He's like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I really appreciate you calling me the number one." And, my dad was mortified. He dropped. He's like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was you."
See, yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, you
thanks, Chris.
Make sure you know who you're flipping off.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Nick pulled up this video that I haven't seen in a while. I've seen it before, but once you watch it, it's pretty interesting. It's a series of Paul McCartney interviews that he's done throughout the years. And when Paul would get asked questions or a line of questioning that he didn't appreciate it, he would pretend to scratch his face
Oh my God, really?
with a middle finger. And it shows clip after clip after
that's
clip
funny.
after clip of him doing it, of pointing with his middle finger to his face. And at first I was like, oh, it's probably just happenstance.
No.
But it's usually when somebody's asking questions that he doesn't really want to get.
Stupid! F you! D's nuts! Stop with the stupid questions.
You can do a quick search on it and
F
find.
you!
Yeah, but
you know what I do, Preston? So when I'm under my glasses and I'm kind of rubbing my eyes, my middle fingers get it done, and I only realized it. But I do that. So rather than take the glasses off with my headphones on, I'm flipping the bird.
Yep. All right. Well, anyhow, I thought you would find thought you would find that, Paul, kind of interesting. This morning, the origin it goes back to the Greeks and the Romans. It goes to the Greeks first, and then the Romans, and then the Beatles. Yeah. So thought I would share. But listen, if you are going to flip somebody off, be careful. Make sure you know who it is, and also try not to get too crazy upset over somebody who's just throwing their finger in the air.
That's what speed strips are for.
Not worth getting that mad about. We're going to take a break. We'll be back, and we'll go live on the Fox Good Day when we return. So stay with us. Nick, TV time. But before we do that, I want to mention that we have a secret text word today. Your chance to win tickets to see The Black Crowes, the Happiness Bastards tour, Tuesday, May 7th at the Met. And tickets go on sale Friday. Pierre is going to have tickets to give away all week long. Go to WMMR.com for the pre-sale as well. But secret to 39333. Here we go.
I'll relate to this. You go into the office, and there are unspoken office rules. A lot of people have been turning to social media to discuss the rules that you have in your particular office. So, Preston and Steve, on your crew, Preston, we'll start with you. What are some of the rules?
The unspoken rules. If you pour the last pot of coffee, you got to make a new one.
Except no one does that.
No one.
I do it.
I do it. There's a lot of this is kitchen-related stuff.
It's a lot of kitchen-related stuff.
Yeah.
And the coffee machine is the nexus of so much.
Yep. You don't put stinky stuff in the fridge.
You don't cook stinky stuff in the microwave.
You don't take someone else's food in the fridge.
Never.
I recently, I have a salad dressing container in the fridge, and what I did was, you know what? I thought somebody might have been hijacking some of it.
Yeah.
So I took duct tape and I wrapped it all the way around the bottle, so you can't tell what flavor it is.
One label on it,
and then I wrote my name on the top of it.
Urine sample. That's what you got to do.
Urine sample.
That's it.
I'll put that on there.
That's how you take care of it. You know, it's another one that extends, I think, to the bathroom. Honestly, there's some dude who's doing it. I don't know if it's part of they do the toilet paper doily on the toilet seat and then leave it there.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Here's my. This is.
Oh,
my,
there you go. Very well done.
Marissa brought this in as my salad dressing.
That's hilarious.
There you go.
I used Gorilla Tape on it.
Do you have enough tape? Do you have enough tape for the toilet seat?
You know what I did? I just bought my own refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy did. She bought her. She has her own office.
By the
fridge.
way, Kath, I use that refrigerator, and whenever I put something in there, I feel guilty because it's not my fridge. Are you okay with me putting like my stuff in there?
No.
Oh man.
No.
Well, he's putting his underwear in there.
Yeah.
No, I said you guys could use it.
All right.
Of all the group there, who would be a rule breaker?
Well, it depends on what the rules are. I mean, all right. Well, I was gonna say Casey because there are certain rules where some people would abide by it and other people don't. For example, clipping one's toenails in the studio or fingernails in the studio.
Okay.
I don't clip my toenails in the studio.
No,
but
no.
I do have a nail kit in my bag.
You were clipping your fingernails the other day.
Yeah. Not toenails. That's just disgusting.
Yes.
Or I don't know. Like,
okay?
what's that?
No.
I think nails. If you're going to do that,
fingernails are. That's okay.
You go to over garbage, or you do it over the garbage.
I do it over the garbage can. Yeah.
Okay.
Firing BB guns over one's head.
Sometimes they just fly out.
Yeah, sometimes they do just fly out.
Where they go.
Yeah,
that's true.
Here's one here at the TV station. I find this annoying. Maybe we don't. It is the men's bathroom.
Okay. Yeah.
People don't flush.
Yeah. And sometimes, as Steve has pointed out, someone will paper mache the bottom of the toilet with half a roll of toilet paper. And not flush it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're doing some sort of art project for 11th grade. And I'll go in there and it's still there. I'll tell you this, though. We do have toilets that will flush after a certain amount of time.
Right.
But that is the most vile and
why?
inconsiderate thing to do.
Why are they doing that? Why? I want to ask that person that question. Why were you raised this way? Is this a statement you're making?
Did you have an outhouse growing up? What was it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it possible to forget? I guess not.
Well,
No,
no,
you
you're
can't.
looking down at the bowl.
Yeah.
Apparently not, if you're not flushing.
Yeah, you're not bobbing for apples there. It's all.
I mean, we all take
Oh
a
my
quick
God.
glance to admire our work.
Yes.
Before,
Yeah.
You know,
It's an
automatic
saying it off
flush,
to the
though,
great
here.
beyond, but
It's an automatic
Normally,
flush.
If there's poo,
Yeah.
they'll flush. But just pee
Everything.
every day.
Every day you see that? No.
You know what, Mike? You got to put a video camera in there just to find out who it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a special message
Do you know what I?
because they know you're coming in.
You know what I did, Alex? I drilled a hole through the stall wall so I can see into
Glory.
the. It was glorious.
Yes. All right, guys. See you next week.
All right,
all right, see you later,
Wednesday.
guys. All right. So we skipped traffic, so we may as well get to that now. Kathy, what's going on this morning, please?
We've got jam traffic on the Schuylkill westbound past Young to South Street, the Boulevard to Gladwin, eastbound side, slowing from City to Belmont, 95 southbound, Heavy Academy to the Vine westbound, backing up from 8th to the Schuylkill Expressway. On the Blue Road southbound, we're still the Mid-County tolls to the Schuylkill, 422 eastbound, Jams Oaks to 23. And then in New Jersey, 42 north, Heavy College Drive to 295, 55 northbound, so it's 47 to 42. Delays on 295 northbound from 42 to 168. This is a tractor trailer that is off to the shoulder, a tractor trailer accident. And then in Wilmington, Delaware, 141 southbound at 34, right lane blocked with an accident. This traffic report brought to you by Eye Care Specialties of Pennsylvania. Get a new look at Eye Care Specialties of Pennsylvania right now. You can buy one, get one 50% off. Complete eyeglasses. Schedule an exam today at eyecarespecialtiespa.com. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
So before the bizarre file stories, I'd like to do a couple of shout outs if that's okay. I want to get these out the way. This says, hey, Presbo, good morning to see you. If at all possible, I'd like to get have you read this on the air? My BFF, Renee, wow, they got way out in front on this. So sorry. My BFF Renee, 20 plus years, is turning 29 on March 5th.
March 5th.
In honor of her birthday, I'm surprising her. Well, maybe I should wait. Oh, no, because you know what? It's okay. I'm surprising her with a trip to the Cardboard Classic. Although we are not participating in the Cardboard Classic, we are looking forward to spectating and experiencing the Cardboard Classic in person. So if you could please let Renee know that you will see her there and maybe a juicy shout out in honor of her 29th birthday. That would be awesome. Thanks. See you at the Cardboard Classic. That's from Lisa. She says also, P.S. She is an avid podcaster, so anytime before the Cardboard Classic would be great. So a shout out.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
And that's a great idea to surprise a friend with a trip to that event, which will be here March 1st, by the way.
And honestly, you're going to love Montage and that whole area, the hotels and restaurants, and it's a place you can easily make a weekend out of.
Yeah, and it's only 20 minutes further than where we used to do it. It's an easy drive.
It's nothing.
All right, and then this one says, hey, Bresbo, reaching out to see if you can do a Yoo-Hoo shout out for my mom, Karen Smith, for her, or it might be Smythe, for her 60th birthday, anytime around January 23rd. She's playing Preston and Steve and WMMR in our house and on the road for as long as I can remember. When I listen to Preston and Steve in California, I know she's somewhere on the end listening to, and it reminds me of home. She's kick-ass at everything she does, and I know a shout-out would bring a smile to her today. Thank you. That's from Allie Smith. So a shout and a happy birthday to you. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to mention, our friend Mike Mogan from the Dirty Delco Engineers. Speaking of the Cardboard Classic.
They're the goats.
He emailed me, and he was the guy who was behind such, the Dirty Delco Engineers were behind Preston's vasectomy in 2012, Kathy's Perfect Box in 2013, and then he said our highest placing Delco sled was second place in 2017. And he said, since then, I've had 2 kids and followed in your footsteps by getting my own vasectomy. Thank you for an education. But he said, my reason for writing today is to help another team out this year by supplying them with some cardboard. He said the Dirty Delco Engineers will hopefully return to the hills someday, just not this year. So if anyone needs cardboard, my company, Beachwagon, has the good stuff. Yeah, I'll explain in a second, guys. He said it's really thick, 3/4-inch structural cardboard that's stiff like plywood. If one of the Cardboard Classic teams is interested in the good stuff, they can reach out to me through our website, which is ebeachwagon.com. And by the way, he invented this this motorized electric beach cart that is badass.
You guys are talking about this thing.
So if you go to ebeachwagon.com, you can check it out. It's high end. It's on the pricey side, but for a reason, because it's extremely durable and really, really cool.
Well, it also has a lot of other cool, like accoutrement, like chargers, and I think maybe there's Bluetooth capabilities and stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. So he said our warehouse is located in Newcastle, Delaware, so it's more convenient for a team further south. If you could get the word out for me, that would much appreciate it. Thank you, Mike Mogan, forever your listener. ebeachwagon.com. If you want to get, he's got some cardboard for offer. I'm going to give this to Marissa. She'll post that information. So just wanted to pass that along to you, and good luck in your sled building. We should have registration open any day now.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be done by now, but there were a couple of little details that needed to be taken care of. So you will be able to register sleds very, very soon. So we'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, we're going to do the Bizarre File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, brought to you by Special Olympics Pennsylvania, inviting you to join Nick McElwain and Team MMR at the Philadelphia Polar Plunge. That's coming up February 10th at Citizens Bank Park. Info at phillyplunge.org. Got some pretty intense stories today. A lot of heavy stuff. This one has a lighter edge to it, but is also pretty intense too. A Brazilian man can consider himself lucky to be alive after he mistook a gunshot to the head for getting hit with a rock on New Year's Eve and going about his business for 4 days.
So he'd been shot in the head and just carried on.
Yeah. 21-year-old Mateus Faccio was partying in Cabo Frio on December 31st last year when he heard a loud noise like an explosion in his head, followed by sharp pain. He instinctively put his hand up to the top of his head and felt blood. A doctor in the crowd noticed the blood dripping from his head and helped stop the bleeding, but thinking that he had just been hit by a random stone thrown by someone in the heat of the moment, Mateus just went about his business. He applied some ice to the wound, celebrated New Year's Eve with his friends, and then drove 186 miles to his house. On January 3rd, he went to work as usual, and then he drove to Rio de Janeiro to meet some friends. And it was only in the afternoon of the fourth day that he realized something was wrong with him. After taking a nap, he felt his left arm weaker than usual. He could move it, but it felt strange, and he didn't have the power or coordination to pick something up with it. Worried, so he got dressed. He went straight to a private hospital where he told the doctor about the stone to the head he had received, and only a CT scan revealed that the stone he had felt to his head was actually a bullet that was now lodged in his head.
It's effed up.
The doctors and nurses who saw him there almost couldn't believe it.
I can't believe this.
They explained it to him and his family that the 9mm bullet in his brain had to be surgically removed because although located in a less critical part of his brain, it could cause serious problems in the future. Obviously, there were risks associated with procedures such as brain bleeding, brain fluid leakage, and even death. But the operation was successful, and he is already on his way to full recovery.
The fact that he was functional for 3 days and only started to develop symptoms on the 4th?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yep. All right, listen to this. A Colorado-based pastor for an online church accused of pocketing $1.3 million through a cryptocurrency fraud scheme told followers in a video statement that the Lord told him to do it.
Oh.
Eli.
You need to understand that the Lord wanted me to get involved in crypto and rip all you fine people off.
Lord.
Eli Regalado and his wife marketed their cryptocurrency called Index Coin to Christian communities in Denver, saying God told him that people would become wealthy if they invested. Index Coin raised nearly $3.2 million from that.
When the Lord said people, he meant person, me.
At least $1.3 million of that went directly to the Regalados or was used for their own personal benefit. In a video statement to his followers last week, Eli said the charges, they said to the charges that they pocketed $1.3 million were all true. He said, out of the $1.3 million, $500,000 went to the IRS and a few $100,000 went to a home remodel that the Lord told us to do.
The Lord said, do something with your living room, which is looking old, and also bought this incredible beach cart that has USB capability.
Lord.
The couple also allegedly spent their investors' funds on a Range Rover, luxury handbags, jewelry, an au pair, boat rentals, and snowmobile adventures.
How do the parishioners not leap out of their seats and burn this guy alive?
Wait till you hear the end here. The couple were charged with violating anti-fraud provisions under the Colorado Securities Act. Commissioner Tung Chen said that she filed the civil suit after she was approached by people who invested and lost money through Index Coin. Regalado claimed that God told him that they would become very wealthy if they invested, promoting it as low-risk, high-profit investment pegged to the average value of the top 100 cryptocurrencies. In reality, Index Coin was, quote, liquid and practically worthless.
Okay.
The cryptocurrency was available only in Kingdom Wealth Exchange, which they shut down. The family shut down. It can no longer be sold anywhere. It is 100% not worth anything at all.
Wow.
Regalado said,
what a scam.
Regalado said, though, we took God at his word and sold a cryptocurrency with no clear exit. What we're believing for still is that God is going to do a miracle. God is going to work a miracle in the financial sector.
Until then, I suggest you take it up with God.
Listen to this. And Steve, here's the kicker. In the comments of his video, dozens of people continue to reassure him that God will turn the situation around.
Please.
Oh, my goodness. So, by the way,
I have sinned.
He was serving, he was, when he was 22, he served a prison sentence for boosting cars when his faith called him to become a pastor 20 years ago.
The Lord wants me to have this car.
Oh, my God.
Is he a younger dude?
People. Yeah.
Oh, my
God.
God.
I mean, he's 40. I think he's early 30s or 40s or something like that.
This guy looks slimy.
Old, but just unbelievable. All right, on to another story. How much time we got left here?
One more story.
All right, we'll do this one. This one's a heavy one, too. 66-year-old Mississippi woman is facing a murder charge after police say they found the body of her son in a wooden box hidden behind a false wall in her home. It's her own son.
Yeah.
Jerry Roby, who also goes by the last name Israel, is facing 1 count of first-degree murder after authorities found the body of 42-year-old son John Allen Gaither behind the wall of her home. Authorities started investigating after one of Gaither's out-of-state relatives called to report him missing. Police began noticing discrepancies in statements provided by Israel, or Roby, whatever you want to call her. She became increasingly uncooperative and changed statements multiple times. Roby had previously been convicted of murder in Florida around 1995 and made several attempts to dump the deceased subject at different locations throughout Florida, authorities said.
You can't find someplace in Florida?
Detectives conducted the search, walked into her home. Roby ingested a handful of unspecified pills, which prompted the need for her to be transferred to a hospital. During the search of the residence, a wooden box containing the deceased subject was located behind a false wall. Roby attempted to cover up the crime by writing notes to family members where she posed as her son, saying he was okay. Multiple homemade wooden boxes were found at the house and in the garage. This woman is a murderer and murdered her own son.
Horrific.
Insane. And that is all I have in the bizarre file. Sorry, man. The story's a little bit on the heavy side. I have a few more, too, which we'll get to later on. I have lighter and heavy ones as well. So
one water, one drinks. One
trying
water.
to follow
Yeah.
Kathy's mom's thought process. All right, a reminder, we're going to do this tomorrow morning. We are going to have Eric Lindros on to interview. We will be giving away, in conjunction with his interview, tickets to the Flyers alumni game and the Hall of Fame game and maybe some other things, both at the Wells Fargo Center. But to get in the running for this, you need to enter to win. It's a contest that we will do live on the air, and we're going to need your phone number. You can go to PrestonandSteve.com to enter this information, because we are going to, during that interview, randomly call one of the numbers that people have sent in to enter. And if you answer the phone and the first thing out of your mouth is this,
I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my phone.
You will win the tickets to the games. All right. So you have to say, I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my phone. Write it down, have it in front of you, have it ready to go. Because if you say hello or anything else at the start,
done,
you're out.
Yep.
All right. So that's how we're going to do that tomorrow morning. So go to PrestonandSteve.com and you can get signed up now. We will take a break and come back in just a moment. So stay where you are. King, which would
93.3 WMMR.
I have before we get into a segment we're going to do here, I have a question about a traffic thing. Kathy, you had texted me and Nick, because we take the same route on the way home last week. Might have been on Friday.
I think it was.
And I saw it before you had texted me, Kathy. It was at the Gladwin exit on Schuylkill Expressway, headed westbound. The sign for the exit, Steve, it's got to be 20 feet in the air.
Right.
At least. Something hit that.
Like crushed it.
And,
really?
And that
the hell could that have been?
High in the air, and I was dumbfounded by it.
I mean, it had to have.
Was it a giant?
Well, are there trucks that are even bigger than the normal tractor trailers that you see?
Not that big. I don't know what could have happened to it, and I never really decided to do a follow-up. I didn't think about it until this very moment when I said it.
And it was crushed upward, so like you almost you couldn't see it looked as if a truck could have come through.
And
so
by ramming through it, pushed it up.
Pushed it up, and then stuff from the sign was like hanging down, and some of it was in the road too.
I've never never seen anything quite like it.
It was snowy and crappy weather when we left here on Friday, and but I've driven that way a couple of other times this week, and I haven't noticed it again. Have you guys?
I haven't been paying attention.
I'll have to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was the one. It was the sign that was the 1 mile alert. It wasn't the actual sign for the exit. So it was a little before. So yeah, I'll look today too.
When you first saw it, did you think it was a llama?
No, but Preston's right. Like I was like, wait a minute, what is that? Like there's a truck coming. I mean, there's tons of tractor trailers that drive the Schuylkill. There's no way it was that.
Sure. Steve, it's over the right-hand lane of the Schuylkill Expressway heading westbound as soon as you get on Belmont. So you're on at Belmont, right? And about a mile before you get to Gladwin, that's where the sign is.
There's loads of, obviously the internet has loads of footage of these things where these large vehicles take out those signs. A lot of times you'll see the dump trucks or the ones that tilt back and deposit their load.
Oh, maybe.
And the guy will still have the unit up as it goes under a sign and rip it apart.
Well, a little further down from there is that salt
True.
facility.
Yes,
So
right.
it's possible that somebody was going to get a load of it. We got some phone lines lighting up, so maybe somebody knows or is going to comment on that, because I I just couldn't. I thought about it for a little bit afterward, and then I completely forgot about it until just now. But it was just bizarre.
Did you at any point consider dinosaurs?
No.
Well, a lot of people are texting and saying that it was a dump truck, Steve, with it, and the dump truck was in an upright position. It was a
There
salt
you
truck.
go. Yeah. I mean, Nick, there is low, and I hate to say it, and most, to the best of my knowledge, no one's getting hurt. It's just simply ripping the signs apart.
Right.
It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a few, I know we've talked about this many times, but there are a few low railroad bridges in our area, including one near the Radnor train station on, I think that's King of Prussia Road, and trucks hit it all the time. And Steve, one time, Ben and Andrea and I were in a car. We were driving towards Route 30, and there was a box truck behind us, and it hit that.
Wow.
The box truck was right behind us, and I saw this guy behind me, and I'm like, oh, man, he might be a little too high. Turns out he was. It was so loud and terrifying because we heard his truck ram into this ancient bridge.
Is that the one that has, there's sort of an optical illusion where the truck drivers misinterpret? There's a little bit of what they believe to be a dip, and they think they can pass. Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's one going into Phoenixville, too. Like
That's
you're
it.
on 29, coming from Collegeville into Phoenixville. That goes downhill. Trucks hit that one all the time. Yeah, then the reason is just because it's old bridges and old roads.
Yeah. That's why they get all those on the line. Matt, Jim, Tom, Dan, all those who called in. I appreciate it. We got the word, but thank you for the call.
That's why I stopped driving around with my giraffe in the car.
Good call.
You just don't know.
It's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up, gang. I do appreciate that because I was curious about that. All right. My mind is going elsewhere, though.
Oh, my God.
Is that right?
It's a stream of
My
consciousness.
mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
The stream of Consciousnessner.
I wanted to pass this along to you. If you've ever thought about getting a personalized plate, a vanity license plate, just know that the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation has an extensive list of plates that it's ready to reject should they feel that yours is, vulgar or suggestive in any
How
shape or form.
do they have a list on the website of the parameters of what they're?
I don't know if it's on the website, but I have some of the examples here, which I'll share with you in just a moment.
Curious, yeah.
We tried to do a whole series of family vanity plates. So last name, nickname is Foz.
Yeah.
So me, my mom, my brothers, my sister all wanted to get Foz license plates and Foz numbered, right? So my younger brother's the only one who actually went through with it, right? And he was Foz 5.
Yeah.
And he got it, and they misspelled it. And so he drives around with a place that says Fonz 5.
Fonz 5. They misspelled it.
Yes, that's great.
Dude.
How could they misspell
He's
it?
the only one. And what's really funny is he was the only one who was like, I want to be Fonz 4, right? Because that was his number in lacrosse.
Fonz 5.
And I'm like, yeah, but I'm fourth in line, so I got to be 4. And he's the only one.
So PennDOT keeps a do not issue list of 2,872 personalized registration plates.
Okay.
It's a big, big list.
So something that borders on profanity is not going to make it.
Yeah, so I'll give you some of the examples. But Delaware County, Delco, was represented 4 times on the list.
Can you use the C word?
Including Delco OG. They won't allow that.
What? Okay.
I guess maybe because the word gangster's in there.
Well,
That's
there's
what the G stands for.
Oh, okay. But there's also certain numbers or letters that aren't allowed anymore because of the pay by tag. They retired the license plate that I had on my car because I just got a new car a couple months ago. Mm-hmm.
I've kept that tag through a couple of cars.
Right.
And they retired it. I think Casey predicated on that.
So also on the list, several plates mention President Joe Biden or Donald Trump were not allowed. At least 5 phrases containing KKK and one listed as white power, WHT, PWR.
Could you imagine that?
Oh, there's some worse ones too, by the way.
But I almost say allow that just so I know. You know what I mean? If you want to label yourself.
It's like baby on board.
Right.
You need to know.
At least 3 plates were linked to one featured in an iconic Seinfeld scene where Kramer receives the wrong vanity license plate that could have belonged to a proctologist. People were also hauling ass with several plates. 7 had a variation on the phrase. Sports fans got creative as well with F Dallas 1, which Dallas was spelled DA11AS.
It's just being creative.
And F Crosby with the O in Crosby being a 0.
So anything that starts with F as the FU.
Yeah, sometimes. So Penn State fans also can't use LFG PSU.
Yeah.
Neither can Phil's fans use LFG PHLS. 51 plates contain the word bad, and 29 contained BD, which I assume that means Big Johnson.
Yeah.
Like ED Energy.
ED Energy, yeah.
Followed by inappropriate phrases and numbers. So here's some of the ones. It's 4 pages of these things. I'll just give you some of them.
Just do the first 3 pages.
These were all denied?
They're on the do not issue list.
Okay.
So, if you present this, they'll automatically refuse you. So, assassin, abuse, Bentley B, because the B stands for bitch.
Yeah.
Ben's bitch as well, BCH. Bite me is not allowed. Camry.
Camry is a Toyota, right?
I don't know why
would that be an issue?
Camry would be on the list. Cannabis, DRG, DLR, drug dealer.
Oh, drug dealer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm a drug dealer.
Hi. I'm also an ass man.
Ecstasy, fancy AF, fast AF. There's a lot of AF.
Yeah, so the use of the F word is not going to be.
F-bomb is one of them.
Right.
F-cancer, F-and loud.
Could you?
F-you Karen.
Could you do F word, C word?
Now, here's one I don't understand. Gandalf.
What?
Gandalf.
I don't know why.
Is that mob-related?
Why they wouldn't allow that?
I'd like to inquire as to getting a license plate for my vehicle. My wagon, I wanted to read Ass Bandit.
Yeah, Gandalf is not allowed.
Gandalf, why wouldn't you be able to? Well,
I don't know why Camry wouldn't be allowed.
Is there any sort of copyright issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
All right. So the joke on Gandalf is, "You shall not pass."
Okay.
So they don't want you to pass them while driving on your license.
Shut up. That's
why.
weak.
Yeah.
That's very weak.
Wow. Also, gangsta.
I'm the original gangsta.
Got to pee.
I've got to pee.
Homicidal. Hooker.
I'm a homicidal hooker.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
And then you have the H8s. So hate kids, hate Karen. And these are just a few of them. I'm sure there's loads of other hates on there. Jeep FAF. What
Fun as F?
Maybe. I guess so. Late ASF. Late as F.
You're right. Anything that obviously there's a ton of riffs on that.
Yeah. Then you have Mafia and Nazi.
Okay.
Can't have Nazi on your plate.
Yeah.
Illinois Nazis?
Yeah.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
How about F Fonzie 4?
How about this? OPHUCKS.
Yeah, come on. See you next Tuesday.
OMFG is not allowed. PennDOT is not allowed.
Because it's an official vehicle designation,
Probably,
right?
yeah. Salty AF, SHT, HPNS. S happens.
Oh.
Slow AF. Snafu is not allowed.
Snafu?
Situation normal, all effed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So FUBAR would not be allowed as well.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Sober AF. I like this one. Uck off.
Yeah. Why not, though? Honestly.
I like uck off. That's a good one. Marissa says Jeep FAF is fast as F.
Okay.
Jeeps aren't fast as F. I mean, some of them might be, but
are they
sports cars?
Are they fun as F?
I think that's. I don't know. Vegan AF.
Come on, man.
Zero FS. I like that one. That's
How
kind of
about
fun.
F as F?
Zero FUXGVN.
Zero F's given.
And then the last one on here is one sassy B.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't have that?
Can't have that.
I'm perplexed about the Gandalf thing, again, going back to that.
And Camry.
Which is an actual...
Camry's probably copyright.
Yeah, brand name.
You know, Nick, I was looking at the Camry during Toyotathon.
Isn't that like Lobster Fest?
Absolutely.
Happens all the time.
Those Cheddar Bay biscuits.
So there's 2,872 personalized plates that are on the not allowed list.
Pierre has one for Minerva, which is I had to fill that form out for him, and I believe it's like $50, $60 to get the license. I don't know anybody else that has one, and Minerva obviously isn't on the road that often.
Have any of you ever entertained the notion of getting?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Never.
I could never come up with an idea that sticks.
I don't.
One that I would be happy with.
I don't like them. I think
Kathy, I can see one for you. Clean as F.
Clean
yes.
AF.
Yes.
No, I think they're stupid. They zero you in on you. Like it makes you stick out.
Yeah.
I would do one that would be more cryptic for
Target as F.
like a fish song or something like that.
Right.
Well, what would you go with, Case?
I don't know just yet because I haven't really thought about it. I mean, we were going to do Foz.
Yeah.
And then my brother
Fonzie. Preston,
Potsy.
did you ever entertain the notion?
No, I could never, like I said, I could never come up with an idea that would stick, that would be worth having. And I wouldn't mind having like a golf or drum related one, but that's about it.
How about Gimli?
No, not Gimli.
You could do like PINEVLY, like Pine Valley.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's the one from Delaware that says WMMR Rocks. I get that sent to me fairly frequently.
Yeah.
Are there any Preston Steve ones in like PNS or
I don't know. I've
PNS
never seen
fan?
anyone.
Haven't seen one.
PNS might be like
PNS probably wouldn't clear, right?
Yeah. Hang on. I want to go to, speaking of that, let me go to Rob here real quick. Rob, morning, bud.
Morning. How are you doing today?
Good, man. What's up with you?
So far, so good. I just called in because I got turned down by PA for Balls Deep.
Balls Deep was denied. Of course, we can see that.
How'd you spell that?
I think I put it as BLSDP.
Okay.
And the woman was about 60-ish, and she looked at me over the brim of her glasses and was like, well, do you have any other ones you want to try in case they deny it?
Yeah.
Let me be honest. I love.
Elbow Deep.
They approved elbow deep.
Yeah.
Wow, that was some kinky DMV worker.
Yeah.
Wow. You still have it, Rob?
Yes, it's actually registered to a 69 Nova.
Okay.
Do you think you could get away with
Thanks,
fisting?
Rob. Appreciate it.
FST,
no.
NG?
I don't think so. Hang on. Scott can explain the Camry thing. Hi, Scott. You're on the air, bud.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's up, Scott?
Thank you. The reason you can't put Camry on a license plate is if you're getting a ticket and they write Camry in your license plate number, when you go to court, you can say, "Well, that's not my license plate number. That's the name of the car." Just like you can't have a plate that says no tag. Because
yes, that's one of them on the list. No tag.
No
is on the
tag
list.
because
Yeah.
it's
okay.
now it makes sense.
It's a bizarre technicality. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. All right. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, bud.
Yep.
Could you get a tag that says innocent? So that you get before,
maybe. All right. Let me go to one more call, and then I'm going to move on. Stream of Consciousnessner. I'm going to go to Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning to see you, Michelle. What's up?
So we were on the flip side of this. We didn't request these tags, but twice it happened to us. The first one, it was a classic tag, and it came back CONT.
Oh, my God.
So say it with an accent.
CONT.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Dude, that's
So
amazing.
That was fun. I can't tell you how many people stopped to take a picture of the license plate.
And what's the other one?
The second one came back KOKX.
Oh, God almighty.
And that
Did
was
not
just
did not
that was just
request
randomly issued to you.
Totally random. The woman at the title place was so embarrassed to call and say, "So your plate came in, but you might want to see it before you take it home."
Well, you basically got a matching set. You got
right?
Yeah, I mean that's as perfect as you can get.
Thank you, Michelle.
Randomly.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, if you're considering those, remember there's a big list of them
Right.
of no-nos. Now, what I don't know is if you can find that list or not and look at it ahead of time to make sure that you are, not
Don't waste your time.
Wasting your time, exactly. All right. Let us stream.
The stream of Consciousnessner.
All right, Orkin came out with its annual list of top bedbug cities in the country.
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Philadelphia has dropped down in the ranking for 2024. We're now in fourth place.
Fourth place.
How about that?
We're number 4.
Yeah.
We're number 4.
Suck it, Chicago. They took the top spot for the third straight year.
Chicago! You're going to Chicago?
I am going to Chicago.
Bring some back with you. Do you know people who freak out over bed bugs?
Yeah, Kathy.
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you mean,
yeah.
people? I'm sitting right next
Besides
to
you,
you.
it's a given. Anything that's dirty or even remotely. But I mean, so when you go into a hotel, do you give it the full,
You know what?
inspection?
check?
When there was, when this was all coming out, and I think, bed bugs the rate was up in Philadelphia. Well, now it is again, I guess. Yes, I totally was. I was doing the hair dryer, like any trick that they said to do. Now I will give it like a quick look. I definitely check
All
the
right.
mattress and yeah.
What do you use? Just your eyes?
Oh yeah. Because they say they kind of like will gather in like in the seam, like in one spot, kind of in the corner. So that's where I'll check.
I'll give you some tips on how to look for them here in just a second. So Chicago's in the top spot for the third straight year. New York moved in number 2. Philadelphia ranked there last year. So actually, it's at number 3. Philly is number 3.
We're number 3.
The list is based on treatment data from the metro areas where Oregon performed the most bedbug treatments last year, and that includes both residential and commercial bedbug treatments. Known for rapid population growth, female bedbugs can deposit 1 to 5 eggs a day and may lay 200 to 500 eggs in their lifetime. They can survive for several months while waiting for their next blood meal. So they're likely to emerge the moment that a food source like humans or animals becomes available.
Do you remember in the big, so when there was really in the midst of that huge bed bug scare, and it was in New York, and there were people who were getting them in theaters and so on and so forth, you would see mattresses all over the place being thrown out.
So if you ever go to a hotel room, and you want to check, you have to remember the acronym SLEEP, S-L-E-E-P.
Okay.
Survey, lift, elevate, examine, and place.
Okay.
So you survey the hotel room for signs of an infestation. Be on the lookout for tiny ink-colored stains on mattress seams and soft furniture and behind headboards.
Icky.
Lift and look in bed bug hiding spots, the mattress, box springs, and other furniture, as well as behind baseboards, pictures, and even torn wallpaper.
Oh, really?
Elevate luggage away from the bed and wall. The safest places are in the bathroom or on countertops.
I actually
bathroom.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Examine your luggage carefully while repacking, and once you return home from a trip, always store your luggage away from the bed. And then the last thing, place. You place the dryer-safe clothing from your luggage in the dryer for at least 30 to 40 minutes at the highest setting after you return home.
A friend of mine will never bring her luggage into the house when she gets home. It stays in the garage for at least 2 days and then brings it in and washes everything. Now, when I come home from a trip, whether I've worn it or not, I wash everything.
You wash everything?
Yeah, especially if I travel on a plane and if I stay in a hotel room.
Kathy, how long does it take you to unpack or put the stuff away from a vacation?
10 minutes from walking through the door.
Okay.
By the way, but your friend there, Kathy, tell them they can survive several months without waiting for their next meal.
So she leaves it and then she puts it directly in the washer.
And then she moves.
You can do that on the first day, too.
Man, I keep stuff in the bag until I go on the next vacation sometimes.
I'm exactly like Kathy. I get in and I break down the bag fully.
Yeah, I have to walk through my laundry room when I come home, so I just dump everything into the washer, whether I used it or not. It's just, all right, everything's
Even your
clean.
toiletries.
Even my toiletries.
Nick, it makes me feel better that my trip is over and I'm home and I gotta, go back to work and all that stuff. If everything is put away, I'm like, well, at least that's done.
All right, so my mindset is I have not used all of these things. If it's dirty, I'll wash it as soon as I get home. But like if it's still clean clothes in the bag, I was like, well, I have to use this because I haven't used it on vacation. So it should be the first thing that I wear when I get home. So I keep it in the bag as a reminder to wear those clothes.
You have to follow through with the plan.
Yes.
I think you guys would be surprised with my approach to staying in hotels because I'm not a meticulous person, but when it comes to that, like if I'm going to be staying anywhere for a number of days, like I actually have I have a system. Yeah.
Do you do it at camp out?
A camp out, I do.
That's like a week, obviously.
Yeah. So what I do is I actually for those 5 days I have 5 outfits set and ready to go.
Drawers? Put them in the drawers?
No.
Casey made fun of me for putting stuff in the drawers one time.
Well, I just I take that back. I apologize if I made fun of you. I just I don't know. I just doesn't. I know that they're there. I just don't know. You're the only person that I know that uses the drawers. So.
When I went away for like 2 weeks, like this cruise thing that I was on, I took it out of the bag. Normally, I keep everything in my luggage, and I have my little staging areas.
What about the closet, Preston? You use the closet?
I never have stuff that I'm hanging up.
Oh, really?
I use the closet all the time.
Yeah, that's the only. I don't use the drawers, but I'll use the closet for long sleeve shirts or whatever.
I don't. Do you use the drawers though, so that all the clean stuff is in there? You wear whatever, and then you fold the dirty stuff and put it in the suitcase.
Or there's so many drawers usually that one of them I'll use as my hamper.
Yeah,
and I'll throw all the dirty stuff into the hamper.
Okay.
And plus, I'm paying for these drawers.
Yeah.
I might as well use them.
Goddamn use them.
That's
I'm
what
not
that's
judging.
part of it.
So when we stay at the Marriott at the Navy Yard, they have usually that giant ottoman.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
that's my staging area. That's
great,
where all
yeah.
my clean clothes go for the week, and
That's where I keep my deli meat.
Here's my Tuesday outfit, Wednesday outfit, and then
when I'm my feet on the ottoman.
When I'm done with but I usually just sit in the bed. So but
how hot?
Yeah. But then when I'm done with the clothes for the day, I put them in a bag, and then I put that in my luggage.
We got our little system that we use, right? All right. So anyhow, you should look around for bed bugs. But the good news is Philly went down in the rankings.
Yeah, it's still wildly infested, but we're getting better.
All right. So people for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA, have proposed a literal change to the Pennsylvania tradition of Punxsutawney Phil. And they would like to change the tradition by offering to replace Punxsutawney Phil with an enormous golden weather-predicting coin.
What?
Yes.
That's stupid.
PETA, well, listen to their logic, though. PETA President Ingrid Newkirk said groundhogs can't make heads or tails of the winter forecast.
Hey, good one.
And shouldn't be jostled around by large members of different species and thrust in front of noisy crowds for a photo op. PETA is urging using Punxsutawney Groundhog Club to send Phil to a reputable sanctuary that will give him the care that he needs and not treat him as what they call a wildlife prop.
Send him to a farm where he can run around with other groundhogs.
What is he doing the other 364 days in the year?
Well, I'll explain at the end.
Running from a hammer.
PETA made the offer in a letter to the group. The group claims it sent to the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club on Monday. In the letter, the animal rights group claims the enclosure where the groundhog is kept year-round at the local library so that one day a year he can bring revenue and attention to Punxsutawney simply isn't humane, and said subjecting the animal to the yearly festivities should be ended, just as, and it says here, eating groundhogs is no longer part of the annual tradition.
I never realized eating
that
groundhog
part of the tradition at one point?
I guess so.
Jesus Christ. Stop eating every groundhog.
Steve, it started way back in the 1800s, so I guess, they probably were hungry.
My dearest wife, today we looked at a groundhog to determine how the weather would go for the next 6 months. And then we ate it.
Then we killed it and ate it.
I've eaten 2 squirrels, a muskrat, a groundhog, and part of a tree.
At a certain point, you just stop eating everything around you. You remember the footage, and this actually happened. Bill de Blasio, at the time, the mayor of New York City, and they had their own groundhog, and he dropped it, and it later died.
Oh.
No.
So PETA has offered to provide a coin with one side calling for 6 more weeks of winter, the other side for an early spring for Groundhog Day organizers to use instead of relying on the weather predicting capabilities of a marmot. The group also urges that the coin would be just about as accurate as Punxsutawney Phil. A coin lands on the same side about 50% of the time, they said, whereas Phil's predictions have been shown to be correct about 40% of the time. In the past, PETA noted that the group has also offered to replace Punxsutawney Phil with a persimmon tree or a willing human participant.
They were going to go look at the persimmon tree. I would say this. If you want to get them to bite at this, you have to do something that's a little bit showy because there's a lot of revenue associated with this whole event. If you're to do something, Preston, like a smaller iFly type tube and have a large coin that you could put in it, turn on the fan and let it pop up in the tube and then come down heads or tails.
Do something
like
spectacular.
about the size of like a manhole cover. That would be something.
Nothing would ever be as fun as the way they have it set up now. And
then they get to eat them.
And then they have a nice meal afterwards. It doesn't bother me that they do this at all, but I kind of see a little bit of their logic because they care about animals and animals being handled improperly. But the whole thing about the coin, it's about the same.
It's wildly inaccurate.
So on its website, the club says
it's a friggin' rat.
However, the club says that Phil lives not in an enclosure, but in his own burrow that connects to several locations throughout the town.
Oh.
Including Barclay Square, the town park, and the Punxsutawney Memorial Library. Didn't know that.
He's like Rambo.
So they've got like little tunnels that go from building to building.
What you want?
That's pretty cool. So anyhow.
Do you want to replace me with the coin? Coming back from Vietnam, spitting at me, going baby killer?
What about us eating you?
That's effed up.
Yeah.
You can't put that on a license plate.
No, you can't. All right, so let me see what else I have here for you. Stream away.
The stream of Consciousnessner.
My mind was a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
eBay said yesterday they plan to lay off 9% of the company's workforce, and that equates to about 1,000 full-time employees.
Why?
I know.
So a number of these companies are laying off large portions of their staff.
I just and I was going to pose the question: do you guys use eBay from time to time? I just ordered something last week from there. I still use eBay. When I can't find something at a retailer, chances are I can find it on eBay.
And I know you can find like brand new stuff, and it's not just like
I bought lots of brand new stuff on there,
like lawn sale stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've used actually more, I'm usually online with the different businesses, and I use Amazon a lot. But Etsy, I will go to.
I'll go to that. That's more unique, handcrafted things that you can't find anywhere else.
Right, and that's why I go there, because they're more unique.
But like I needed a club head cover for my putter, and I needed a very specific one, and I couldn't find any new ones that would fit properly. And so kept searching, and sure enough, one of them that popped up was on eBay. I'm like, sold, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
When are you getting it?
I already got it.
All right. So, and obviously everyone has sort of a rating as far as being vetted, like the reliability of shipping, and they get reviewed. So you can look at that and see if they have.
That's the one thing that I've never had a disappointing experience on eBay, because it's all out there for everyone to see.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone, it's all peer rated, and so you have to rate, and if people have bad ratings, they don't last long on there. People won't order from them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll occasionally go to eBay. Over COVID, I went on this shoe shopping binge with sneakers, and I bought a bunch on eBay, styles that were no longer available.
They
in
were
store.
new, right?
They were new. But I tried to sell a pair of sneakers on there. It was kind of like a collectible sneaker, and I didn't want it anymore, and I had paid a decent amount of money for it. So I was like, okay, let me try the selling option. I've sold a few things on eBay, and I got a lot of traction. And I was like, oh, good, I'll be able to sell this. And the person that ended up winning the bid, because I put it up as a bid, who ended up winning, sent me the money.
Yeah.
But it was a total scam.
Huh.
And,
oh, man.
And eBay, I think eBay ended up contacting me and was like, don't ship this. Whatever you're seeing, because I would see the money in the PayPal account.
Well, that's effed up.
But it wasn't I guess maybe it wasn't really there. Whatever the scam was, they contacted, they said, do not ship this item. This isn't a verified buyer or whatever it was. So I ended up not shipping it. But yeah, it was, and I wouldn't have ever known had I not received a message.
I ordered a book of groundhog recipes one time, and never got it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we ended up getting my son. He usually gets a different football jersey every year because he's a big fantasy football guy. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, receiver for the Lions, and I couldn't. They're so expensive. And
they are.
I found one on eBay for half price, and it was really good quality. And I was like, do I try this out? Because I've never really purchased anything from eBay. And then I reluctantly did it, and it showed up. I was like, and it was really good quality.
Oh, good.
I was very, very happy about it. But I was
half the price?
Yeah. Dude, it was $75. I mean, and in fact, I think the quality of the jersey that we got was probably closer to a $200 jersey. But
okay.
Yeah.
So the CEO added that said that the layoffs were going to be happening, and added that the e-commerce firm will also scale back the number of contracts that they have within the alternative workforce over the coming months. And they explained the job cuts are necessary because eBay's overall headcount and expenses have outpaced the growth of the business.
Do you know who is a whiz with eBay? Loves it? Dr. Mike.
Oh, yeah?
He plays that eBay game like a master.
He sells too?
I don't know if he sold. So he's obviously into RC, radio-controlled aircraft, and also he loves the thrill of the hunt, and eBay presents that ability for him.
Kathy, do you, or actually do any of you guys ever use Poshmark?
Yeah.
No.
Actually, my wife sells on Poshmark quite a bit.
I never got into Poshmark. I know that people like it, but I never got into it.
Yeah, Andrea uses it a lot for clothes, and she'll find stuff on there, and she'll sell stuff on there too. So Steve, like if she
is
has
that the commercial where you have clothes and you put it up?
Yeah, so
It's
Steve,
like eBay for like clothes and handbags and name brand stuff.
Or she finds vintage jeans, right? And she wears them for a little while, and then she can sell them on Poshmark, or she can buy them on. It's I guess like kind of like an eBay trading post kind of a thing, but she uses it a lot.
I should put up some of my shorts.
Yes, meshies.
So mainly clothes, fashion stuff
for Poshmark. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have to wrap up.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We got a whole other break to do.
I have more, but I have more in this break than I would in the next.
Stream of consciousness
Do what you want, man.
upset.
I'll do whatever you want.
We'll do one more.
Are we doing one more stream of consciousness now?
Yeah, we'll do one more.
Yay.
That guy likes it.
Let's see. All right, we'll go with this one, and it has to do with shopping as well, Kathy.
Ooh.
The latest financial trend: being cheap and loud about it.
Oh God.
Well, you're loud about being cheap.
I'm not cheap at all. I like a good deal, and I like.
That's what this means. Loud budgeting seems to have originated with TikToker Lucas Battle. In December last year, the concept is all about unapologetically prioritizing your own financial goals, setting smart boundaries on spending, and feeling comfortable to talk about it. Rather than flaunting
You're bragging about your efficiency with spending.
Yeah, maybe it's not shopping, Kathy. Maybe it's more.
Yeah.
What's that, Nick?
My time has come.
Yeah, you and your dad.
Yeah.
So I have a friend who will constantly, I guess, brag about how cheap her outfit is. So
I look like a whore.
No. So like if you're like, oh my gosh, I love that. She'll be like $7, Target sale section.
Yeah. I know people like that.
Yeah.
Yep. They immediately.
It's like the same. It's like the coupon clippers.
No, but and listen, I get it because when you get a really good deal on something, like you're happy about it.
Sure.
And you kind of want to tell people about it, but hers is like everything. And you're like, okay.
Well, some people who shop for cheap gas like to share that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of chocolate syrup in it, but it's still good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of those people that like to shop for cheap gas. And listen, here's how I think about it. You guys, the four of you, get joy out of shopping sometimes,
Yes.
right? The
Yeah,
shopping
absolutely.
therapy kind of a thing.
Yes.
And like buying something nice for yourself makes you feel better about yourself.
It does.
I feel the opposite. And when I feel like I've saved some money or done well with a budget for a month or like limited, the no spend January kind of thing.
Right.
Like to me, that gives me joy and it's a sense of accomplishment. So like that's how I kind of see the positives on both sides.
Okay.
Different sides of the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because not everybody in my family deals the same way. My dad, as we've discussed many times, is inherently cheap and thrifty over the years, but my brother Josh loves spending money.
You know what you should do? Freak your dad out and buy him a jetpack. What is this?
Yeah, in his current condition, Steve, that would kill him.
It's only $5,000.
Wait, real quick. Meredith just texted me. She said Poshmark actually has everything. I saw a Santa that you had in your lobby, and I found it on Poshmark.
Really?
The one in the bathtub?
I don't know. I'll ask her.
Because I
which
told
one,
her to
Kate.
just take it. I said, dude, because she was
can have
mentioning it. It was a decoration. Yeah, there was a Santa in a bathtub decoration.
What a
She
Pierre's
loved it.
thing.
Yeah. And I said, just take it. Nobody's going to notice it's missing.
Pierre would never know if it was gone.
Nope.
No, all that stuff is thrown around. There's no rhyme or reason.
But loud budgeters are attempting to eliminate debt and save up to buy a home. Frugal young adults may live below their means or downgrade their lifestyles to pay down bills even faster.
These days, good luck getting a home.
And they're fighting against lifestyle creep, which is the tendency to spend more as you earn more.
Well, clearly that's the wiser move is to live within your budget.
Yeah.
Hey, Kath, you had mentioned your friend likes to brag about how inexpensive her outfit is. So what I am trying to come to terms with is how to react to somebody who compliments because I had a sweater on at the thing last week, and I do the same thing every time when somebody says something nice about
You're like $7 TJ Maxx.
No, I tell them where I got it. I'm like, oh, Instagram. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like,
You could how about thank you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It just doesn't seem like
How
enough.
about eat me?
Yeah.
Well, you could say, yeah, thanks, man. I really like this color, and it just it spoke to me.
Dude, I'm not gay.
Dude, stop being obvious.
Stop hitting on me.
No, I know what you mean though, Casey. Like you feel like there's got to be like a follow up instead of
Does there
just
have
like,
to be a story?
thanks.
Yeah, a little story. I know what you're saying.
But I also know my tendency to tell stories.
You are compelled to tell stories.
Yeah, Yes, he is.
But I mean, that is a nice attribute as well because you'll make someone feel to home, as they say.
You do. You love to tell stories, coming along. But what I know, and I know that I do it. If somebody compliments me, instead of just saying thank you, I'm like, oh, thank you.
Right.
Like it's like a little exaggerated.
My beauty is my gift to you.
And so you're welcome.
You're welcome too.
Yes.
All right, that's all we're going to have time for in the stream of Consciousnessner.
The stream of Consciousnessner.
Hopefully you gathered something out of that. Reminder, we have tickets to give away for Black Crows. And that show is coming up May 7th at the Met. And tickets aren't even on sale till Friday. So text the word secret to 39333 and you might win those tickets this morning, which we'll give away before the end of the program. We're going to take a break and be back in a moment. Stay with us.
3 WMMR.
I'm only going to have a chance to tell you this a couple more times, so I will reiterate this. Tomorrow morning, Eric Lindros is joining us. He's playing in the Flyers alumni game on Friday, and so we're having him on tomorrow on the 7 o'clock hour. And if you want a chance to go to the alumni game and also the Hall of Fame game, so the alumni game's on Friday, but the Hall of Fame game, which is a regular season game for the Flyers, but Mark Recchi's being inducted into the Hall of Fame that day. That's on Saturday, and you want to go to both these games. Get signed up for it. We're going to require your phone number, and then tomorrow morning in the 7 o'clock hour, while Eric is on the phone with us, we're going to call one of those numbers. And the very first thing you have to say when you answer the phone, you don't say, hello, how you doing, any of that stuff. You have to say this.
I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my phone.
If you do that, then you win the tickets to the game. Pretty sweet deal.
I mean, it couldn't be easier.
Yeah, so that's our special phrase. So go to PrestonandSteve.com. And by the way, the Flyers alumni game, proceeds are going to benefit the Flyers Charities and Flyers Alumni Association. So it's not only a fun event, but it raises money for a great cause, too. All right, so I think we need to go to the Just Sayin Institute. Yes. Oh. And in fact, we have available now merch from the Just Sayin Institute.
That's right. Yes.
We have available now in the MMR Rock Shop as a flash sale, which means a limited time, the Preston and Steve Just Sayin Institute hat on sale now. It's a collegiate look, 90s snapback style baseball hat. I love the logo. I love the colors, everything about it. The sale ends on Monday at 11 a.m. So if you want to show your Preston and Steve spirit, then you get your Just Sayin Institute hat today.
I love that it's sort of a cryptic way to do it.
The MMR Rock Shop. Absolutely. Okay, so these are studies in the medical field and different stats that have been collected through various surveys. And we're going to start with this. In a survey of 2,000 adults found that those between the ages of 25 and 34 are most likely to ask for help.
25 and 34 most likely to ask for help.
Yeah, meaning they're the most comfortable asking
Right,
for help.
right.
All right.
Because I remember the first time or the first of my age when I realized it's okay to ask people for help. It's okay to ask, how do I do this?
Was it during an orgy?
Can you help me with this? No, it wasn't during an orgy.
I cannot fit this in here. Can you help?
It was in my first radio job, and a lot about it, I was absolutely lost. And then I realized if I just asked the people that I work with, how do you do this? What's the best way to go about this? Can I get your advice? And it opened up the whole world to me.
So what it is, I think what happens is when you're naturally you think, oh, I'm here because they want me to be self-actualized and be, and take care of this and do this, and they want me to do that. In anything, you think, well, I got to show my autonomy and that I can take care of the things by myself. But a lot of times you end up screwing up things worse. And you're right, that ability to just learn to ask for help when necessary and not be too annoying can make all the difference in the world.
But you know what? It does have to do with the people around you, though, when you're asking. Because I remember, too, when I was in like an intern situation, I was with like a bunch of old guys, like men that had been there for years. And like, you'd ask a question and you'd get like a half-assed answer. And I remember just
What's your
being
name, Gams?
all right, well, I'm going to have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then I was moved, after a few months, I moved to a different part of the newsroom. And then I was working with people who, were a little bit older than me, but at least more my age range. And like, yeah, ask anything. Sure, I'll show you this. Like, it just was the atmosphere around asking.
You have to feel
and feeling comfortable.
welcome. Yeah. That is true.
But then there were points where I felt like I had been there so long that I was like, I can't ask that question. I should know that at this point.
No, those are all accurate dynamics that go on when this is occurring.
I've tried to impart to my kids that generally people want to share their knowledge with you. They want to show you, I know how to do that. Here's how you do it. And they're happy to because they're, passing it on to you. Sometimes they're passing on a responsibility to you, which can be great too. So
it also allows coworkers the opportunity to sabotage you
Can laugh
and
at
give
you.
you wrong information.
Right.
37% of the people who were surveyed said that relationships are the most uncomfortable topic to seek advice on. Finances and health are other awkward subjects.
Would you seek other people's advice when you were in a tumultuous relationship? Or were you an island unto yourself?
I don't remember.
No, I would.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I remember like my uncle had a marriage that went bad, and he was like, "Why didn't you guys ever say anything to me?" I'm like, "Dude, you wouldn't have listened. If I said something to you, so it wasn't worth it."
Same thing. And like afterwards, we were like, "We're so glad you got divorced." And she's like, "Why would you let me go through the wedding?" I'm like, "What were we supposed to say?" As you're like picking out your wedding dress.
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Your husband's deadbeat.
So, 57.
Dude, he was such a loser.
57%.
Who was it?
Oh, she would probably call in and talk about it if she could.
57% of the respondents feel that asking for help at work helped with their careers.
Oh, good. Yes. Learn from the people who have a bit of a knowledge.
Yep. 25 of the respondents don't like asking for help at all because they prefer to be independent. They don't want to be a bother or are too proud to ask for help.
So for me, it would be the bother. I didn't want to be always a lot of times, and anyone who has, I'll advise this to the interns. There's a happy medium where if you are doing a job and you're making it actually take longer, and you're more of an issue for the person who's overseeing you, then that's counterproductive. So, but asking initially and getting up to speed, that's absolutely fine.
The too proud part, I think, lines in with Kathy going, I'm embarrassed to ask because I should know this already.
So that's the camera?
Yeah. Oh, we're looking there.
I was looking in the air conditioner.
Something that I've learned during the course of working for the show is that far more often than not, when somebody asks for help, help is given. And the context that comes to mind is, and every year, Steve, we talk about this during Camp Out for Hunger. People are embarrassed to ask for help from Phil Abundance.
Yes,
there's shame attached to asking for help, and I understand that. But when you can swallow that and be okay with it, and then ask for help, people are so willing to give it. And to me, that's enormously encouraging.
All right, let's move on to something else, y'all.
Can you help us get there?
I was in mid-yawn when Nick stopped talking. I was like,
here's the way Nick prattles on.
Researchers from Queen Mary University of London found that e-cigarettes and nicotine patches do not appear to harm the babies of expectant mothers.
All right, so smoke up.
Wait. Categorically don't or do not appear?
An analysis of over 1,100 pregnant smokers found that nicotine replacement therapy, like using e-cigarettes instead of cigarettes during pregnancy, is safe.
I feel like our hotline is going to blow up any minute.
Any second, Dr.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
E-cigs might even reduce the risk of respiratory infections in mothers.
Well, wait.
So wait, putting a foreign object or whatever smoke into your lungs is going to help
It's
with
not smoke. It's
Okay,
vapor.
sorry. Yes, foreign chemicals into your lungs.
Reduce when compared to cigarette smoke, or reduce entirely?
It seems to imply reduce entirely.
This is the worst article you've ever read.
E-cigarettes, this is according to Professor Peter Hayek.
Someone call in and help us.
He said e-cigarettes helped pregnant smokers quit without posing any detectable risks to pregnancy compared with stopping smoking without further nicotine use.
What about a fifth of scotch?
The harms to pregnancy for smoking, and late pregnancy at least, seem to be due to other chemicals in tobacco smoke rather than the nicotine.
Interesting. It's the smoke itself.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's other chemicals in tobacco smoke because there's tar and other things that come in that.
Carcinogens.
But apparently nicotine, like you would use in a patch just to get that, that fix, that high, whatever it is.
If you're expecting, is it okay to huff paint?
Is apparently okay. I'm going to say, I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
But I'm going to say it's not okay to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no.
No?
No.
I would have thought other way.
Stop it. You would let another being growing inside of you do it.
How would huffing paint hurt that?
So I was quite surprised by that.
I'm stunned. And Kathy wants to punch you.
I think it's ridiculous. And tomorrow there's going to be like another article that's like, whoever wrote that article is a complete moron.
Okay, so I have a question about baby in womb. How does the baby get oxygen? Is that all that delivered through the umbilical cord?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, because they don't obviously aren't using their lungs.
Yeah, they don't use their lungs until they're out, and then they cut the cord.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
If I learned anything from the movie Abyss, you can go back in time and your lungs can learn to breathe liquid again. So, like, that's sort of the premise there. But I swear to God, I think your lungs function by getting oxygen from the liquid.
That's exactly. So what they?
I don't know.
That system that they employ in the movie is true. You can breathe liquid. You have to learn how to do it.
James Cameron wouldn't lie to us.
He wouldn't lie. That the baby could breathe through the belly button, which is kind of like
wait a minute. That's real.
That's real.
Oxygenated liquid. You can
breathe oxygen.
I respect you, but I don't believe you.
So here's the deal. They've done this test on people, and they've done this test on animals. You can search for it. It is used now. It is not employed a lot, but it can be used for deep sea diving situations. Can you see if there's footage of people breathing the liquid?
All right. Well, while they pull that up, let me just tell you about the fetus. So the fetus receives all the necessary nutrition, oxygen, and life support from the blood vessels in the umbilical cord from the mother through the placenta.
Okay, so it goes through the placenta.
So she is breathing through the belly button.
Through the cord.
Well, but I mean, it is oxygen through the umbilical cord, basically.
Right. He's on.
Hey!
Got him. He's on the Xfinity mobile guest line from Penn Medicine and Fox 29. Dr. Mike Sirigliano is joining us. Hi, Dr. Mike.
Well, hello there. I was in with a patient. I got a naked man in the other room.
Oh.
Don't we all?
But how's your patient?
When are you getting to work?
So I had to ask Marissa because I'm a P1, but I wasn't listening because I was in with a patient. So now I hear it's about nicotine and pregnancy. Is that so? The study was that it's okay or not okay?
Okay, read it if you quickly for Dr. Mike as a naked man in the other room.
I'll read this exactly. Researchers from Queen Mary, University of London, found that e-cigarettes and nicotine patches do not appear to harm the babies of expectant mothers.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no. First of all, no one should be doing e-cigarettes. And look, I mean, when it comes to if you're thinking of having a child, right? You want to get off any kind of nicotine. You want to not drink. You want to get yourself into shape. Do you know that when my wife was pregnant, I didn't drink? Out of respect for the fact that she couldn't drink alcohol. And the bottom line is now the sticking point here is if someone has a real addiction to nicotine
They want to shake that.
Can't stop.
Yep.
You want to try
All right.
to get off. Now there's a lot of other literature that disputes that study.
Let me finish this because there's a little bit more to it, Dr. Mike. An analysis of over 1,100 pregnant smokers found that nicotine replacement therapy, like e-cigarettes instead of cigarettes or during pregnancy, is safe. E-cigarettes might even reduce the risk of respiratory infections in mothers. They said that e-cigarettes help pregnant smokers quit without posing any detectable risks to pregnancy compared with stopping smoking without further nicotine use. The harms to pregnancy from smoking, in late pregnancy at least, seems to be due to other chemicals in tobacco smoke rather than the nicotine.
Well,
it might be a newer study that you're not familiar with. I don't know.
Well, right. And look, I'm not an OB. And let me tell you something. When I deal with pregnant people, I check it's like airplane, like there's 3 lights to make sure the landing gear are down.
Right.
I check with drug information. I check with an OB-GYN. And I also check with God, because I don't want to screw up. All right. So, look, anybody out there listening, and normally, I try to give advice and don't say, go see. You have to check with your healthcare provider because you don't want to cause a problem. And there are studies. I mean, nicotine is just not a good thing in pregnancy. And what you want to do, in my humble opinion, are to try to get off nicotine, before you think about starting a family. Now, that's easier said than done.
But your mindset seems to be, and I think I agree, is why be cute about it if you can use it as an opportunity to eliminate it from your ritual, get clean, and not, don't dance up to the wire if it could have a detrimental impact on your child, correct?
Right. I mean, the bottom line is you want to now look. I mean, people get pregnant every day, and some didn't plan on it, Now, in some of the literature that I'm aware of, they basically talk about nicotine replacement as an alternative only after a discussion with the patient about known risks of continued smoking and possible risks of nicotine replacement therapy and stuff like that. In science, in medicine, you don't base everything. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is one study. And as I use this phrase with patients all the time, show me the money, right? I want to see more study. This was 1,100 patients, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where I want more studies to show that is okay. But look, smoking is a nightmare. No one should be smoking, and I hate to be a downer. I don't like anything heated going into the lungs, and if you are trying, God bless you, to stop smoking, then what you should do is consider alternatives. I don't like e-cigarettes. I prefer things like nicotine gum and stuff like that, but pregnancy is a different ball game altogether.
You also say Red Man is the way to go too, right? The chewing tobacco?
Oh, God.
He's a big fan of chew.
Hell are you Casey.
Yeah.
You don't want to do. You'll get some kind of cancer on your gum.
You don't need that.
Oh.
You know what you do, Mike?
And you're spitting crap all over the. Oh my God.
To get back at Casey, send that naked man over to his house.
Yeah.
Listen, when I was a kid, I wanted, because I like baseball and I like baseball players, and they all like chewed tobacco.
Yeah.
My father sat me down at the kitchen table. I remember it was like yesterday. He put a pack of cigarettes in front of me and chewing tobacco, and he said, "Try it." And I hated it. It was disgusting, and I never did it again.
Yeah, there you go.
Dr. Mike, we were also talking about the possibility of breathing underwater, breathing a liquid, and how babies breathe. And there's a movie, The Abyss, by James Cameron, where people are able to breathe some type of oxygenated liquid underwater. That's obviously science fiction. But is there any science to that notion?
So a baby is able to breathe because in the womb, because there is an opening between the atria called the foramen ovale, and so that's how babies breathe. Now you're saying that they have the mother underwater breathing?
No. There is a chemical there. So I have it up here. It says the liquid used is perflubron. perfluorocarbon, in which large amounts of oxygen and carbon dioxide dissolve. This is under the question of what do deep sea divers occasionally breathe when they're talking about this unit that allows them to go to great depths and not have it impact their bodies.
Right, and so it's a liquid that's going in their lungs. Is that
Right.
what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, I have heard of that before. Now, look, I don't pretend. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. One, I don't even like putting my head underwater with a scuba.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's shocking. Yeah.
You know, well, a lot of people think I should soak my head. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is that when it comes down to it, that science always advances. There may be some truth to that. I seem to recall hearing that. But, again, it's a little out of my wheelhouse. But
Quick question. Should expectant mothers be deep sea diving?
I wouldn't.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't if I was
I go with Dr.
There's
Mike.
even concerns about, flying. Again, I'm on the fringe of my knowledge base here, and I hope I'm not screwing people up. But look, the bottom line here is everything that you do, whether it be drinking or even stress during pregnancy, there's data that suggests that may have effects on the baby, even if you are under stress, physically or emotionally. So, look, it's a time of life where you really got to play by the rules and be as careful as you can. I'm sorry to say.
No, you know why we love you? Because you're a straight shooter, and you frame everything in a way we can understand.
And that goes for marijuana too.
Yes.
All right, I'll throw that in to the pipe. You can smoke that one.
So you're saying smoking marijuana out of a pipe is okay?
Yeah. If you're at the proper depth.
Don't worry. I'm listening to you, Dr. Mike.
No, we got it. You're right. And I think that makes total sense. Why flirt with the potential of an issue when you're looking at this precious thing that is growing in your body, not like the alien creature, which was invasive, right?
Yes.
You just, and again, I'm not trying to be the Oppenheimer of people's lives. All right? I don't want to be the destroyer.
You want to be the Barbie of people's lives.
Well, that side too. But the bottom line is, I want people to know that there are consequences with everything you do.
Yes.
And you have to be careful with caffeine. You have to be careful with nicotine. You have to be careful with alcohol. And all of those things, this is what OB-GYNs do every day in and out. They counsel their patients, and they get, hopefully people to do the right thing. And
you make me think of my favorite fictional character, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This is not the vagina you're looking for.
So, Dr. Mike, this is just one study, so we'll see if more of them come out to
I
corroborate
wouldn't hang
that.
my hat on one study, whatever.
Agreed.
All right.
Even
now,
though
I guess you're going to talk and ask me to call in about brain surgery, which I've never done.
No,
right? But
you at least you dive in and try to help. We love you for that.
I just call it the way I see it.
Yes.
If you were in my office right now and this came up,
You'd
I'd
be
say,
naked
look,
too.
That's exactly what I'd say.
It's Naked Wednesdays.
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
I love you.
We love you.
Love you.
All right, see you later. All right, well, I'll have to look up more on the breathing liquid.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I thought it was flat out science fiction, and I didn't think that they had actually developed that because I've never seen anything about that, me personally.
Believe it or not, years ago on the Mike Douglas show, they demonstrated a mouse breathing in the liquid. And when they
do that in the movie too.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's a good movie.
It's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
It's a damn good movie.
You've never seen a case?
I don't think so.
It's I
Is
enjoyed
Sam
it.
Neill in that?
It's Ed O'Neill.
No, it's not Ed O'Neill.
No, it's Al Bundy.
Ed Harris.
Yeah, it's
Ed
O'Neill.
Harris. All right, let me go to Joe. Hey, Joe, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to see you.
Good morning, sir. All right, so you were a surgical resident.
Yes.
And have used said liquid for someone to breathe before?
Yeah, it wasn't to breathe. We gave it intravenously, and it carried a little bit extra oxygen. It's kind of entailed, but it does hold oxygen molecules within the liquid. And if Steve said it, back in the 60s, Union Carbide had a commercial on the 21st Century with Walter Cronkite, and it was a little mouse swimming around in this clear liquid, obviously not drowning, and it's called, the stuff that we used was called fluosol, but it's a perfluorocarbon. So it sounds like science fiction, but it actually is true.
So what they said, and what at least from what I remember, is that obviously once you get past, as depicted in The Abyss, drawing in the liquid, people panic, and then they get past that, and then before they know it, they are able to do it. It's obviously you have to exert a little bit more force. It'd be almost as if you're at a high altitude attempting to breathe. Would that be correct?
I would say so, but I've never seen them use the liquid in a human like they did in The Abyss. But they definitely were they were doing it on rodents back in the 60s.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting. Listen, you guys are great.
Thank you
for all that you do.
Oh, thanks, Joe. We appreciate it, man. Appreciate you checking in. Take care,
We
buddy.
should have asked about the Kessel Run.
Yeah, I was thinking of Event Horizon, by the way.
Oh, I enjoy that movie.
What about it?
That's the movie with Sam Neill.
Yes,
that I was thinking of.
Ed Harris it is a great camera movie using a lot of practical effects. The Abyss is a classic.
I'm going to go to Seth. Hi, Seth. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. What's up, Seth?
You were talking about the fetus getting oxygen. The whole process is that the placenta is a place where nutrition and oxygen can pass between the mother and the fetus. The baby has what's called, sorry, I'm forgetting the name now, but it's a special hemoglobin that's in infants that's stronger so that it can pull the oxygen away from the hemoglobin that the mother has.
Wow.
And that way the baby can continue to get oxygenated and also, share whatever nutrients and get rid of wastes. So although the baby is breathing the amniotic fluid while it's in utero, there isn't any significant oxygen in that. And one of the risks of babies actually breathing that amniotic fluid is sometimes they can have a bowel movement before they're born. It's called meconium. And if it gets in their trachea, then it can cause them to choke or...
Yeah, it happened to a friend of mine's
that's horrible.
child and
It can be
had
dangerous.
detrimental effects.
Oh, my
mental
God.
effects, yeah.
Did not know that.
Brain effects, yeah.
So I was way off by suggesting they could breathe through the butthole, correct? That's not... Yeah, okay.
He said exactly.
They're not girls.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it, man. We'll see
I
you.
love how Seth answered you, and so did Dr. Mike.
Yes.
Whatever you
I
said
asked
about
in a very clinical way. Clearly, I'm a man of medicine, so they recognize a compatriot.
All right, let's see. I got something else here.
Oh, I love the new Just Saying theme. Must be spring break.
More medical news. Many diabetics require shots of insulin, but the needle may soon be a thing of the past. The Arctic University of Norway has created an oral solution.
Oh, wow.
In the form of insulin delivering.
So Stroman.
No, it's insulin delivering chocolate.
Oh, wow.
All right, I'm down.
I want to be diabetic.
Yeah.
Can I be diabetic too, Mommy?
It's no ordinary chocolate. A special coating protects the insulin inside from breaking down until it reaches the liver. So it's they didn't just stick some in chocolate.
Right.
Yeah.
Your insulin's in my chocolate.
The alternative could help the 425 million people living with diabetes. Not only is it less painful, but the delivery method could cause fewer unwanted side effects like low blood sugar.
Chocolate.
The project leader, Nicholas Hunt, said that this means that when blood sugar is high, there's a rapid release of insulin, and even more importantly, when blood sugar is low, no insulin is released. So far, the oral insulin has just been tested on mice and baboons.
Why baboons?
I don't know. They probably are
Baboons.
baboons.
Why baboons?
They're probably close in
We need something with an orange ass. Get me an orangutan.
genetics to human beings.
Yes, that would be interesting.
Yeah, instead of having to
as a delivery system, chocolate for Christ's sake.
I had a friend who was diabetic when I was a little kid, and it seemed pretty freaky that he would give himself injections.
Yeah.
To him, it was no big deal. I mean, like, he didn't even feel it at all. It was just a standard, a procedure for him in the daytime. But you would be rid of that, which would be great.
Well, the advances they've made so far, even like the little dials that you see that they'll, the little
that
circles
automatically gives them their
give them
insulin.
administer the system automatically, and then it attaches to an app on your phone. It's That's amazing. But I mean, I would say chocolate wins in the delivery system.
Yeah.
Can I make a baboon comment?
A baboon?
Yeah. Steve, I want you to, I'm saying this out loud now so we don't forget. I want you to ask Pierre during the crossover about Keith Richards and the baboon cage.
Okay, Keith Richards and the baboon cage, I will ask.
Okay. That's it.
Is it going to get a story like how his beard is white? Or
No.
Okay,
It's a great, no, it's an actual Keith Richards story talking about partying on the Stones tour. And,
Nice.
and Pierre interviewed him about it, and it's fascinating. And when Steve said baboon, it made me think of Keith Richards.
Okay.
And there we are. This is Stream of Consciousness.
It is, absolutely.
No, it's not.
Just Saying Institute.
I almost said crap.
Just Saying Institute.
The Just Saying Consciousnessner.
Yeah.
I was a baboon for Halloween once.
I remember that.
You were good.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I
it's
remember you
awesome.
being on a phone for some reason, or you were propped up on a couch.
I was running around the party after a few drinks like I was a baboon.
Did you do that thing where you stick your finger in your butt, you sniff it, and fall off the branch?
I didn't do that. I'll save that for next year.
All right, let's see what else we got. Just Saying Institutes. In a Cambia Health survey of 2,000 Americans, 42% of respondents who consider themselves unhealthy do not remember their physical peak.
So people who consider themselves healthy cannot recall it at the moment at which they probably reach their zenith.
I can tell you
people who are unhealthy.
Unhealthy.
I can tell you categorically, once I started smoking cigarettes is when everything went downhill. Because in high school, I didn't really drink. I wasn't it's not to say that I didn't ever, but it wasn't part of my ongoing identity. But I did smoke cigarettes at that point, and I feel like
That's when everything went south?
I robbed my life.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was very active and I did all sorts of sports and
You were a little baboon.
I was a little baboon.
Well, I'm wrapping it back around to what Dr. Mike said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 45% of respondents describe health as eating nutritious foods, and 41% say the definition includes regular physical activity.
You know what, though? They probably don't know because as you become unhealthy, your feeling good range.
And I hope you are too.
No, it changes. Do you know what I mean? So it's your new vision of what feels good. You don't you don't remember the healthy state. You remember almost your unhealthy feel good.
And that's why they said 42% of them can't. They don't remember.
Yeah.
When they felt the best in their life when they were at their physical peak.
I work out all the time. I exercise. I think I've been pretty consistent in a good, at least feeling, like on a solid plateau. But I think that what you're saying, Preston, I don't think I could pick a time when I said, okay, I've hit the Mount Olympus
You're
here.
full on prime.
I'm full on, yeah.
Yeah. Only 29% said that getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep was a priority. 12% acknowledged the importance of mental health care. When it comes to doctor visits, 29% of respondents said their doctor rarely asks about their mental health.
That is important. And do you remember the time where you felt like a rock standing arrow straight, like a rock?
Are those the lyrics?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know the lyrics to that Bob Seger song.
Charging from the gate.
Yeah.
So I started to go to bed about a half an hour earlier than I normally do, and I can't tell you, I feel so much better in the morning.
You go to bed half hour later?
Earlier.
Earlier, okay.
Earlier. So I used to be 9 o'clock. I'm going to bed at 8:30 now, and I just I feel the difference.
I would pay so dearly if I went to bed. My system now does not work that way. I can't nap, and so I go up to bed at 9. That's essential. But I'm asleep by 10:30, 11.
I'm in a weird place with my mental health right now, and I'm going to talk to you guys because you're my therapist here. But I've made this transition along the line of where I was felt, and I've boiled it down to this. I felt.
Yeah. He's got
Casey's looking at me with a very inquisitive look. His pen in the mouth like he's my therapist.
Yeah.
I have felt overly obligated, with my life in general. And now a switch has turned, and now I feel bored all the time.
You feel bored. You were overly.
How does that make you
overly
feel,
obligated with kids and responsibility in that regard, and now that's a lot of that is taken away from me. And now I'm like,
have you?
Well, now what the hell do I do? I mean, I get all my work done, and that takes up a big chunk of my day. But when those moments are done, like I don't want to sit down and just watch television. That's boring.
Stand up.
Stand up and watch television.
No, but
I want
Preston,
to do something.
They do say that's a mental state that you will go through is after your kids grow up because you're defined for so many years as dad and as the caretaker. And now your kids, at least 2 out of the 3, are taking care of themselves, are old enough to be on their own. And the youngest is almost there too. So you really have to go through a transition.
I know a few women you could pay to call you daddy.
That helps.
I know a few women that are into that.
Wow.
But and they talk. I read an article actually, and how moms, it seems like that's what you're going through. But I read it about mothers and how it can be hard, and a lot of times, especially stay-at-home moms, because that was their job for 18 years.
Think of the way you're wired. Have you talked to your baboon?
Not yet.
I'm a little surprised because you have 2 very healthy habits in golf and drumming, and you get obsessed with them in a really positive way. And I know you're not doing a lot of golfing in January.
That's
but
probably part of it.
What's that?
That I can't do that activity right now.
Can you bring your drum kit outside?
But your brain gets very occupied by golf, and you think obsessively about holes. And this is not a criticism
No, I know.
either. Like I'm impressed by your ability to retain what one green looks like versus another, and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's time of year.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I don't know.
I completely understand that. I think, though, Dr. Mike would, if we were to get him back on the phone, if he's done with the naked guy, having those things, that is, your hobbies are so much a part of your life.
Yes. By the way, Marissa's holding up a sign that said, "I'll show you the way," and she was beckoning me to, meaning she'll show me how to have a good time.
Oh, yes.
How to go out and occupy.
I could see you at the
occupy my
Pringle
time.
Can party.
I thought she was talking about that daddy thing.
We could work on that.
Yeah.
I bet she'd be a lovely daughter. She's driven. She's smart.
My daughter.
My daughter.
So.
She got a big fan of Rancid.
Yeah.
Got
My
married at
daughters.
the Punk Museum in Las Vegas.
All right. Well, anyhow.
She likes the table pancakes.
That's all we have time for in the Just Saying Institute. That's all we have time for the Just Saying Institute, but thank you for stopping by. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. Some Bizarre File stories are on the way. Stay with us.
93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Horizon Services. You can get your heater checked and inspected by their pros, and you'll get upfront pricing, the same day service, plus $50 off any repair. Schedule at horizonservices.com/WMMR. British man fell to his death in Italy after foraging and consuming wild mushrooms that may have left him delirious and disoriented.
He just talked about the issue with this sort of stuff.
Stephen Harper was missing for more than a month during a cycling trip from Scotland to India before his body was identified in Ventimiglia. He died November 23rd. His last message mentioned feeling ill after a meal that included the wild mushrooms.
Seahorse party.
Authorities reported that he was seen falling from a cliff an hour later.
Oh boy!
Seahorses forever.
Those were his last words.
That's it.
And then he jumped. Harper died of his internal bleeding shortly after the fall, but could not be identified until recently because his documents had been stolen while he was cycling through Barcelona. His family took to Facebook to mourn him. So that's sad news.
It's very sad.
Yeah. All right. Lighter story after that. And author of several books about Montana property and wire fraud.
Where'd you get those spurs?
D'Ambrosio's works include books on the life of Montana boxer Marvin Camel. Looking at the life. I'm sorry. A history of cinema in Montana and a book chronicling National Football League players and coaches from Montana. His book on Camel was a High Plains Award finalist. Now, according to documents, D'Ambrosio went to the Montana Historical Society claiming to do research. He's accused of taking items from the archives and later putting them up on eBay for sale.
What are sales like for his book on how to steal artifacts?
The items that he is alleged to have taken include letters written by Charlie Russell's wife, Nancy Russell, an 1889 Montana Constitution Convention flag and program, an early 1900s Ravalli County Sheriff's card, and a 1905 letter from Centennial Brewing.
Wow.
The FBI used an undercover agent to contact D'Ambrosio seeking to purchase some of the alleged stolen items. If convicted of the most serious crime, D'Ambrosio faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine and 3 years of supervised release.
How outlandish.
Yeah. All right, this is terrifying. A Florida therapist, an anger management therapist, from what I understand, is accused of fatally shooting a homeless man and stuffing his body in the car's trunk.
Gosh.
Yeah. Police say Travis McBride killed Clinton Dorsey and will likely be charged with first-degree murder. Police were alerted to the slaying when they received multiple 911 calls about it, and an unidentified caller told a 911 dispatcher that a murder had happened and that a person was looking in the road to clean up blood off of the ground and searching for shells.
I told you not to go there. I told you not to go there.
Caller identified the alleged killer as Travis and said the victim was a person named Clint and that the perpetrator dragged the body across the road, put it in his car, and left. The second 911 caller said the suspect was standing in front of a DeLand address and when asked for clarity by the 911 dispatcher began whispering and said a murder was committed last night. DeLand is about 40 miles north of Orlando. Police found McBride and an officer saw a scratch on his arm and a red mark. And he said they were caused by his dogs. While an officer spoke with McBride, other officers found the second 911 caller who said that she was scared of McBride, who fatally shot Clinton. Police went to where the woman said the shooting occurred and saw a large amount of drying water on the roadway, noting that it had not recently rained there. They also found a spent shell casing. A woman told police that she witnessed the slaying and that she saw McBride drag Dorsey's body across the street and toward a wooded area. She also said that a few hours before the shooting, McBride had come over to her home looking for Dorsey because McBride claimed Dorsey had put glass in a jar to hurt his dogs.
What?
The witness told investigators that McBride said he was going to kill Dorsey. The woman later told officers McBride had threatened her and told her not to go to police. And they found the body in the guy's Nissan hatchback. So
You actually have had quite a few stories from DeLand, and the only reason I remember that is because I actually drove through there once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I mean, at least where I drove through, I mean, think like any other city, there's some nice areas, some
Right.
not, but I didn't find it to be like
Seedy?
so terrible. But
Yeah.
you've had a couple.
whatever you do, don't go get anger management classes while you're in DeLand.
Or at least keep the receipt.
Dude, it'll kill you. All right, one last story, and then we actually have a surprise guest.
Excellent.
Who's going to be joining us here in just a second. So, all right, let's go with this one to end with. A Connecticut man faces a number of charges after neighbors complained to police that he dug up their yard and claimed they were pirates.
Well, there we go.
62-year-old Mark Uterstead.
You know, I suspected he was a pirate.
Was charged with risk of injury, criminal mischief, and simple trespass. Police said they received a call from a concerned citizen. The caller reported that her neighbor dug up her front yard with a rock rake and refused to leave. And when they arrived at the scene, officers said they learned that Uterstead had walked to the caller's property because they believed he owned the neighborhood and that the caller and her family were pirates.
Excuse me, matey. What are you doing?
No, he was not the pirate. He's claiming them of being the pirates. That's why he was digging up their yard.
Well, then that's obvious. Then there's no crime here.
The caller's husband confronted Uterstad about being on his property and digging up his yard. Police said Uterstad began to yell and scream obscenities directed at the caller's husband and young children. He then swung his rock rake in the direction of the caller's husband in a threatening manner. When police, when he spoke with officers, Uterstad told them that he was actually digging up the yard because he believed they were trying to install a water line.
Not the pirate thing?
Not the pirate thing.
Okay.
So
Well, it was a good evasive maneuver.
he was taken into custody and held on $15,000 cash or secured
I'm going
bond.
to go with the pirate story.
That is what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, this is a nice little treat here. We were talking about her victory on Jeopardy, on Celebrity Jeopardy last night.
She's one of our favorite people.
And we actually, we have her answering one of the questions.
With the Philly accent?
With the Philly accent.
Nice.
So this is it, or giving the answer. Here we go.
Located 12 miles outside of it, Villanova offers a course on the history of this Pennsylvania city. Lisa Ann.
Was Philadelphia.
That's right.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Let's welcome her, Lisa Ann Walter.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, guys. Hi.
How yous doing?
Great. How you doing? Thank you for having me on. I'm super proud. I'm really embarrassed over some of the ones that were gimmies that I missed. People have been shaming me. I'm like, you get nervous. And, oh, by the way, By the way, there were a bunch that I knew that I didn't buzz in on, and I'm not as good on the buzzer as Katie Nolan.
No, I've been watching all along, and listen, I completely get it. I fold like a house of cards whenever the pressure's on. You distinguish yourself fabulously, and you were pulling out some stuff that my wife and I were saying, yeah, way to go. So yeah, we were thrilled.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and obviously the cash goes to your charity of choice, which is
The Entertainment Community Fund, which takes care of people in our industry, but everybody, not just the performers, but crew and writers and all the people that suffered during the strike. So
awesome.
I was really happy to do that. They told me this will take care of all of our seniors that we cover for a year.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I
It's
was really
$1 million. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't messing around. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of change, man. I was pretty impressed. By the way, were you guys as disgusted at me as I was at myself by my pretentious reading of Edvard Munch, the painter? I was like, who am I trying to impress?
No, when you're on Jeopardy, there has to be a slight air of pomposity. Yes, no.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yeah, we condone that completely. Yeah. No, it's awesome because a lot of times, and I'll say this, for Celebrity Jeopardy, a lot of times the old perception is that they dumb it down. I think there was some very competitive play going on, and it wasn't a gimme.
There is. Some of the questions are harder, and you're like, okay, what's my memory? But I mean, like the one that I got tripped up on, I thought too hard. There was the Elton John question about, it's about a guy who just wants a simple life. And I'm literally thinking Elton John lyrics, Honky Cat. Oh, that's the one about the guy who just wants to get back to the woods.
Right.
It's right there. It's Judy Garland. So you sometimes can overthink yourself on that stuff, but I think it's not as hard as, definitely it's not as hard as the Tournament of Champions, which, by the way, you guys, they asked me to play on.
Oh.
I'm terrified.
No, listen, you've got, it's also a buzzer game. It's also a thumb game. So like James Holzhauer, a lot of times if you watched him, he would hit the button just reflexively and then think about the answer. He wouldn't even quite know. Do you know what I'm saying? So
that's what they do. That's their strategy from what I hear. My friend was watching with me last night when we, had a little watch party with my family. She baited one of the big champions for a long time. Like he was one of the biggest ones. And he said that it's all a buzzer game. Like all three of them know all the answers all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, because by the way, I didn't know this until I got on the show. They locked you out. I was in there trying to jam that buzzer from the minute it came up.
Yeah.
Like, I know composers, bam, 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 bam. Nope, it locks you out if you do it too early.
Well,
so,
you won. You friggin' won. So that's
I friggin' won, y'all.
that is awesome.
So it locks you out if you hit it too early?
Yes, if you hit it too early, you have to wait until the last word of them reading the question.
Okay.
And then
Because otherwise you could just sit there and pump the button the whole time and be, I got
exactly.
you.
I'll tell you what, they were when when Alex passed away and everything. They were showing sort of old episodes, and it used to not be the case. You could jump in anytime you want, and I found it a less enjoyable show to watch that way. I think you need to get the clue out and give everyone a shot at responding. But yeah, you got to have a quick thumb.
Yeah, exactly, because then the people at home don't even get a chance, and we all want to have our opportunity to yell at the TV. You're stupid. You don't know that? Osaka is in Japan, you idiot. Like I'm yelling at myself. Okay, they're screaming at me. I'm late for the hair chair. I got to go to work.
All right, Lisa Ann, we'll talk to you. Thank you so much for checking in. Congratulations.
I miss you, Preston.
We miss you, too.
Philadelphia.
You're awesome.
All right, Lisa Ann Walter, Abbott Elementary, champion of Celebrity Jeopardy. And wins $1 million. Phenomenal. That was great. All right, let's break and come back in a second. Lesson, question, trash, music, news. Those three things are on the way. Stay with us.
Relax.
Come on, Longview. 10:27 a.m. on a Wednesday. We still have the secret text word. Very, very shortly, we will have your chance to win with that. So text the word secret to 39333. Normally, I do it after the bizarre file. I forgot to do it because we had Wendy on.
Yes, which was great.
That's all good. We'll do it again. I'm sorry, Lisa. The hell am I talking about?
I said yes. It sounded good to me.
You both went with it.
Lisa and Walter. I don't know what that. Hey, Wendy.
Yeah. Did you win Jeopardy, Wendy?
All right, so we will do today's lesson question, and we're going to give away a pair of tickets as MMR rocks the Doobie Brothers, who are going to be playing with Steve Winwood Saturday, August 3rd, Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. The question we'll go with is, when someone at Hogwarts invokes the spell Digitus Imputicus, what happens to one's anus? 215-263-WMMR. When someone at Hogwarts invokes the spell Digitus Imputicus, what happens to one's anus? 215-263-WMMR. Why don't you call back now?
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by CSB Media Arts Center. Train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Visit GoCSB.com. That's GoCSB.com. What's up this morning, Steve?
Well, Taylor Swift hit the recording studio in New York City as she starts to reportedly put together tracks for her new album. Always thinking ahead, Swift laid down some music for a single titled Travesty.
Travis.
Oh, my God.
One Direction alum Zayn Malik attending his first public event in 6 years. Malik took in the Kenzo menswear fashion event in Paris and said how good it was to feel pompous again.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Wow. And former Teen Mom 2 star Caitlin Lowry welcoming the birth of twins with Elijah Scott. Larry now has 7 kids with 4 different boyfriends, which technically makes her a whore.
Oh, yeah.
And that's your Hollywood Trash.
All right. Can I hear that scream again? Where was that from? I don't remember. Okay.
That's me, obviously.
That's you.
Yeah, I forget what caused that.
Let's see if someone knows the answer to this. When someone at Hogwarts invokes the spell Digitus Imputicus, what happens to your anus? 215-263-WMMR. And our first caller in was Zach, so we'll go to him. Hey, Zach. Morning, bud.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to see you, Zach. All right, so Digitus Imputicus causes what to happen to your anus?
Makes it fall off.
It falls out, yeah. You got it, buddy. Hang on a second. We are going to give you tickets to see this gentleman right here along with the Doobie Brothers. It's Steve Winwood and Doobie Brothers, Saturday, August 3rd. Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets are going to go on sale Friday morning at 10 a.m. via Ticketmaster. All right, let's do music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
So good.
All right, Metallica and Super 7 have teamed up to release an action figure of the band's late bassist Cliff Burton. Cliff's action figure wears a blue and black flannel top. Cliff, who died in a bus crash, of course, when Metallica was on tour in Europe back in September 1986, is included in Super 7's re-action figure line for a second time, by the way.
Are these all past rock notables that they
I don't
deal with?
know what all they do, Steve, at Super 7. I just know of this one. So the figure is available to be purchased on Super 7's website and Metallica's official online store. Proceeds from the action figure goes to the Cliff Burton, or why do I keep saying Barton? Cliff Burton Music Scholarship.
You're thinking of the Avengers.
Yeah, Hawkeye,
Cliff
yeah.
Barton.
Sharon Osbourne opened up about her longtime husband Ozzy Osbourne's affairs and revealed that she attempted to unalive herself.
Wow.
Yeah, when on stage at her Cut the Crap show in London, she shared that she had taken an unknown number of pills after finding out that Ozzy was unfaithful.
Why are people saying that lately? I've heard that as a way of committing committing suicide.
On social media, they will not let that through.
No, unalive, Kathy.
Right, so they'll say unalive instead of suicide.
Also, the term committing suicide is on its way out. No, now it is,
Parmesan.
It's not, Parmesan is a cheese.
Oh, okay.
But no, it is, oh, geez.
All right, while you're thinking,
committing suicide.
While you're thinking of that, the people have emailed me before when there have been stories read and the term used commit suicide, because the word commit seems to infer that they're committing some type of a crime or something along those lines. They're guilty of something.
I see. Okay.
So I've heard that, died by suicide.
That's what I think
is a more preferred way to say things. So
Okay.
some people just are sensitive to that, and that's totally fine because that type of thing can really destroy some people who are on the other side of it. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And I thought a part of it, and Nick, that was my understanding that there was an algorithm that stopped suicide from getting through, and that's why they're doing that. But who knows?
To be honest, I just saw it written this way, and I just thought it was a unique way of saying it. And I have not been privy to the fact that it's been used quite a bit lately. So,
It has.
But anyhow, she had said he always had groupies, and I was so used to that. But when he knows the name of the person, where they live, and where they work, it's a whole different thing as you are emotionally invested. And I took I don't know how many pills.
First of all, I don't know the name of the person, I don't know where they live, and I don't know who you are.
She continued saying,
I don't know where I am.
I just thought my kids are older, they're fine,
We
and
have kids?
can take care of themselves. So I took an overdose, and I locked myself in the bedroom. The maid tried to come in to clean the room and saw me, and I guess she helped her get out of there and get some help.
We have a maid?
In other news, Sharon has also revealed that Ozzy plans to do 2 final shows in his hometown of Birmingham, UK. Sharon shared the news on Sunday while on stage. She said he won't tour again, but we are planning on doing 2 more shows to say goodbye.
One of those shows is going to be a magic show.
And she said, and he feels like I have never said goodbye to my fans, and I want to say goodbye properly.
Pick a card.
And, okay, I got it.
Put it back in the deck.
Okay, here you go.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Wow, it disappeared.
It's not a trick, Ozzy.
She said, we will do it in Aston Villa, where Ozzy is from.
Pick a card.
The Killers will celebrate 20-year anniversary of their debut album, Hot Fuss, with a hometown residency at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in Vegas. The band will perform the album in its entirety at all 8 shows, which will take place between August 14th and the 30th. All 4 members of the band, including guitarist Dave Kooning, bassist Mark Stormer, who have stepped away in recent years. So Hot Fuss launched the band into the mainstream and contains songs like Somebody Told Me, All the Things That I've Done, Smile Like You Mean It, and the mega hit Mr. Brightside.
I learned this past holiday season, that the Killers have a Christmas song. Have you guys ever heard it? It's called Don't Shoot Me, Santa.
I'm not familiar.
Maybe I have.
Well, Steve, I don't know if we were just watching a bunch of YouTube videos that were Christmas songs, but it popped up as a rock Christmas tune. I'd never heard of it, nor had I seen this video before. It is bizarre.
Is it?
Brandon Flowers is tied up by a Santa out in the desert. It's like this assassination Santa Claus character, and he's trying to escape. And then the rest of the Killers players, Killers bandmates come and they rescue him.
Hold on.
It's messed up.
Pancake come in and say something.
Pancake is coming.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
They did a Christmas song every year, I think, for maybe 10 years or so. And then stopped doing them completely. They wrapped them up. They put an album out of all of the songs. And we play one of them, Joel the Lump of Coal.
I've heard that.
Which is about this, coal that goes to this bad kid. Santa's mean to this piece of coal.
You ever play this one, that Don't Shoot Me, Santa?
We did once.
Okay.
Bill loved it. Bill was such a fan. He told us to listen to it off the air as much as we would like.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it went over really great.
Well, so maybe Christmas 2024 it'll resurface.
Yeah. But the album is really, really cool. The Killers Christmas album.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Pancake.
It was Pancake.
Yeah.
So, Steve Vai, the guitarist, has burst some fans' bubbles when revealing that a reunion from David Lee Roth's Eat 'Em and Smile is not likely. He explained, saying, there comes a time where you feel the train has left the station. And he also said of Dave, he said there was a period of time where we talked about it and we considered it, but then Van Halen was back, so Dave was out doing that. But I heard Dave retired, and I'm so ensconced in my solo career, all that stuff I'm doing. So you never know, but it doesn't seem likely, he said. Alice Cooper has announced the reissue of an expanded version of his band's 1973 album, Billion Dollar Babies. The 2 CD and 3 LP $1 trillion deluxe edition reissue includes a disc of live recordings from that time period, outtakes, and single versions. The album is being released for the band's 50th anniversary. The reissue also features a newly mastered version of the album. Vinyl edition includes original textured gatefold sleeve and a $1 billion bill. It comes
Wow,
with,
that's
so.
amazing. I mean, you'd seem to be losing money on that.
By the way, here's why I didn't know this. $1 Billion Babies was shot to number one. You know how long it stayed at number one? I have a hard time believing
How
this.
long?
It says 50 weeks.
50? Almost the entire year?
I find that hard to believe. Yeah, so Nick, if you can try and verify that, I'd be curious about that. While he's looking that up, we have a couple of clips to play for you. David Draymond was at a Disturbed show, and I don't know why, but he decided to make some positive comments about Taylor Swift.
I know why. He invited two people up on stage. I think it was a father and a daughter, and the daughter had a Taylor Swift shirt on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here's a clip.
What's your name, Donna?
Ava.
How old are you?
12.
I take it that you came to the Disturbed concert as opposed to the Taylor Swift concert means that your parents are raising you on rock and roll. Hey, don't forget, Taylor Swift still kicks ass. Won't you boo her?
And then he goes on a little bit longer about it.
I will stand up and applaud any pop artist that gets up on stage and sings live and plays the guitar live in front of a whole group of young fans. Don't talk about Taylor Swift. She's for real, and she's making sure that an entire generation of new music fans understand what it means to actually play music live.
There you go. Big fan with him.
And not only that, write the music, too.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I have a clip from the other day I also want to play, Casey. It's of Sammy Hagar.
Got it.
Sammy did a DNA test about his lineage and found out he's not a Hagar.
Do you ever watch this show on PBS?
I've seen some of them, yeah. I won't watch an entire episode, but I've watched clips of it here and there. But this is interesting. Listen to this.
Sammy, this chart shows the total number of men found with the surname Hagar who match your Y DNA signature.
0. How can that be?
Genetically, you are not a Hagar.
This is nutty as anything I've ever imagined.
What 100% certain, because you are not a Hagar. Please turn the page.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm a Belcher?
You are a Belcher. Your Y DNA matches 27 men with the surname Belcher.
Wow.
You are Sammy Belcher.
Sammy Belcher.
All right.
And your mother's maiden name was Julie Jerkoff.
What? Forgive me.
So
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkoff.
Julie Jerkoff.
I know. Right? It's been a little while since we've heard that, and you just can't.
How does that leave
Julie
your mouth?
Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkoff.
I mean, how did your mind not do like throwing the braking device on an elevator when the car it should have just kicked in? Am I about to say Julie Jerkoff? Come on.
Julie Jerkoff. Forgive me, Kirkoff.
I love it. All right. Then one last thing I'd like to mention this on behalf of my youngest and the band at Souderton, the rock band class. They have a fundraiser that's coming up.
Excellent.
And it will be February 2nd at Souderton Area High School. And it's just a live concert. It's only $5 to get in. They're not asking for much at all. Show starts at 6:30. There's baskets that'll be raffled off, and it helps these youngsters find an avenue in rock music to perform and learn how to become working musicians and things like that. It's cool class that they have there. So, and Caroline is the one spearheading the fundraising.
Excellent.
Caroline's friend Vienna as well. So keep that in mind. It's on February 2nd, and $5 to get in. Show starts at 6:30 at Souderton Area High School. Just want to plug that. And it raises funds so that they can purchase equipment for, the sound system and stuff like that. So, all right, and that, yes, Nick.
You asked about $1 Billion Babies. It was on the charts for 50 weeks. It peaked at number 1, and this is back in 1973. So it was on the Billboard charts in the U.S. for that long.
Did it stay at number 1
No.
for 50? Okay,
Only,
there you go.
Only 1 week it was at number 1.
I misunderstood that.
Yes.
I misunderstood
It was
that.
just on the charts
I'm
for
like,
that long.
that's
Right.
no way.
Right.
I rank that up there with breathable liquid.
Yeah. I don't believe you.
I just don't believe it. All right, and then, Kathy, we need a secret text word caller.
7.
All right, number 7. That's been a popular number for you lately.
Is it?
215.
It's your lucky number.
263 WMMR. If you're number 7 and you got the word, you're going to win. We'll be back in a moment. Give it away when we return. Stay with us. You know 93.3 WMMR. It's Everything Rocks. Preston and Steve at 10:31. No, wait. 10:51.
Yeah.
Slight difference there. Yeah. It's gone a little bit late.
31 is the new 51.
So today has been a very fun day. I would like to thank everybody involved, including Lisa Ann for coming on this morning. Lisa Ann Walter from Abbott Elementary won Celebrity Jeopardy last night, and Casey just texted to say congratulations. She's like, hey, I can pop on if you guys want. We're like, hell yes, absolutely. So won $1 million for her charity.
That's excellent.
Which is really, really cool. And she's so much fun. It was great to talk to her. So all the thank yous, that's pretty much it. But we do need to get a winner for the secret text word. Kathy called out number 7, and we are looking at Ron to be that caller. Hey, Ron. Good morning, bud.
Hey, good morning, Nick.
Good morning to see you. All right, Ron, what is the secret text word, please?
Nest.
Nest is correct, yes. Hang on a second, dude. You got tickets to see The Black Crowes, the Happiness Bastards Tour, Tuesday, May 7th at the Met. Tickets go on sale Friday. Pierre's going to continue to have your chance to win tickets this week. And if you go to WMMR.com, there's a pre-sale tomorrow. I believe this is taking place, and another chance to win tickets. And we would also like to congratulate Virginia Schreppler.
Hey!
Middletown, Delaware. She is a school principal.
How nice.
We were told by Connor, and we made her day.
Well, that's terrific. We love doing that.
Winning those tickets in that concert, I guarantee you it will be awesome. The Black Crowes. And MMR presents this show Tuesday, May 7th at the Met in Philadelphia. So congratulations. All right, we need to do the letter of the day, so let's get that underway.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve Show brought to you today by the letter.
U as in under.
U as in under. And we are going to give away a $500 Steven Singer gift card, and that'll be on Friday. And you can say, I love you with the world's best gift from Steven Singer Jewelers, a Malibu Pink 24-karat gold-dipped rose. The brand new color is available now, and it's only at IHateStevenSinger.com. So Friday, we're going to give that away. Pierre Robert is here. It's getting a little foggy out.
Yeah. Foggy. It's not terribly cold. It's just foggy.
I guess it's from the snow melting maybe or something, you know?
Yeah. It looks like it's going to snow powerfully, but it is, I don't think it's supposed to, is it?
No, it's going to go up to 64, 65.
Wow.
Oh, I was supposed to ask you about Keith Richards and the
baboon cage.
Baboon, as we were saying earlier this morning.
The word baboon came up in one of your free-flowing conversations, and that triggered these little files in our head. And in Nick's head, it triggered the conversation with Keith Richards on tour, the baboon cage. Do you have it, Case? Pancake said he sent it in a couple of different times.
Oh, okay.
And it should be labeled, so Pancake standing by.
Don't say it.
Is it under baboon?
Is it under baboon?
It should be under the newest thing. There it is, Casey. It just came over.
Got it.
Baboon cage.
Okay.
All right, so we need to roll this?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
On tour, your hotel room took on somewhat legendary status, being known as the baboon cage.
Yeah.
Can you describe what the baboon cage was and perhaps even some of the activities that took place within?
It's just where, it's open. Unless there was a sign on the door saying cage closed, it's open. It's where anybody in the band and any friends in town that we know that can come up and kick around ideas. And what usually happens is that, loads of people are talking and yelling at each other, and then start to play some music, and then suddenly it's 10 in the morning and there's bodies on the floor. What are we gonna do with this lot? I got to get some sleep now, and I'll just leave them there. So that's a fair description of the cage.
So it was a party room. It was open all the time.
That was Keith's room on tour.
I love it.
That was a couple of tours ago. Whether that cage is still open or not, I don't know. But as we were doing that interview, I was up in Toronto, and the lady. We'd interviewed Mick, and then she says, all right, you can go out, and we'll bring you back in an hour or two for Keith. We're starting to break down the equipment, and she comes back in, this proper British lady. She says, now we're going to give you Keith now before he drinks anymore.
You're going to get him pre-drunk.
And with that, this assistant came in with a gigantic glass, which looked like orange juice. I said, what's that? And he goes, you idiot, it's vodka. And he puts it down, and Keith comes in about 5 minutes later, just swirls in, every bit the pirate that, Johnny Depp portrays him as, with one cigarette unlit and waving in, and he's got makeup on. It's not a show day. They're not even, they're promoting an album, but he's in full makeup. He's got rings in his hair, and he gets ready to light his cigarette, but first he sees the glass. He goes, oh, nuclear waste. I love it. Takes a big sip and sits down. Then he lights up his Marlboro, and I go, Keith, what do you smoke? He goes, Marlboro? I've always smoked Marlboro. Well, I smoked a lot of things in my day. It's the only one with a brand name. At which point we were off and running.
Oh, that's great. That's phenomenal. I love it. And the baboon cage.
Baboon cage.
The baboon.
What's up today, man? What do you got going on?
Oh, on the program, we'll have a great visit from a great man, longtime friend of the station, Chad Taylor, of Live fame, the guitarist. And he's got all kinds of activities, including a week from tonight. He'll be playing at the new club Rob Wasserman opened in Center City called Vinyl.
It's great.
It's a great
little
place.
room. Yeah, terrific.
Many of us have been there to check it out at various times. It's like a little jazz club, really nicely put together.
And parking right across the street.
Yes, that's also important. And it's not far from the square. It's really a perfect Center City location for a club. And Chad will be there with a young band that he's gotten going. But he's going to come in and play acoustic for us this afternoon in the 2 o'clock hour. So looking forward to visiting with him and telling us perhaps a little story of the latest disintegration of the band that he was instrumental in forming, which is Live, which is no more, or sort of, Ed Kowalczyk is continuing on.
Right.
With Live, but none of their other members are in it. So anyway. Also, we'll have workforce blocks of The Who, Cage the Elephant, and it would be Warren Zevon's birthday, so we'll get to a nice big block of the great piano player.
That would be fun. All right, let me thank the sponsor. Today's program, Duncan, the President Steve Show, runs on Duncan. Thank you, Duncan. Tomorrow on our program, Eric Lindros might be calling your phone.
Yeah.
He is going to be joining us via Zoom. And yes, you can get registered to get this really cool setup with tickets to the Flyers alumni game on Friday and the Hall of Fame game on Saturday, both at the Wells Fargo Center. But you have to answer your phone. You have to give us your phone number. While Eric is on with us tomorrow morning, we're going to pick a random number to call. And when we call, you have to answer the phone like this. You can't say any other words than this.
I never thought Eric Lindros would be calling my phone.
And if you do that, you win the ticket. So that's tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour. Looking forward to it. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.